Friends, on behalf of the this committee for the committee for development of the international trade services and WTO, and this is a joint program with the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs, and on their behalf also, I welcome each and every participants. I welcome Bhuvnesh Seth ji, the Vice Chairman of the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs. I welcome Alok Chaturvedi ji, Director General of the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs. We also welcome CA Ashok Batra ji, who happens to be a star speaker for the second technical session, though first technical session will be taken care of. This is basically the program is being designed with the joint efforts of the our institute and the Export Promotion Council. You all are well aware of, we have entered into an MOU with the Export Promotion Council with the dual objective, naturally taking care of the ecosystem of the taxation and wherever the challenges is being faced by the Export Promotion Council to handhold them, and at the same time for the development of our, as we always talk about, we are a partner in the nation building. Naturally, unless until we join hands with the business community, the economy cannot grow with, and to put forward best of the policy into the system. It is not only the professionals connect with the business community, connect with the other institution around us, so that we can give best of the feedback or best of the in the system to the government, and same way to take the challenges or the issues of the business to the government also. With these words, I welcome you on this very first program, which is being jointly been taken care of by the Export Promotion Council and the ICAI. I'll request our guest from the Export Promotion Council, Sri Alok Chaturvedi ji, who is a Director General there, to share his words. Before inviting him, just to share with each one of you, he is a bureaucrat. He has been all through in the system of the government at a different position. Lastly, been with the trade services only with the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade, as a DG itself. You see the power and the knowledge, the way he has brought into the system when he was there with the government. That is also remarkable. I'll move to and request him to share his opening remarks to guide our members, and at the same time to our members who have joined this program from the business community, also from the as a member of the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs. Alok Chaturvedi ji, over to you.
Thank you, CA Shri Hansraj Chugji, Chairman of the Committee for Development of International Trade, Services and WTO. Shri Bhuvnesh Seth Saab, Vice Chairman, Export for EOUs and and stand in the way of the more useful technical presentations. I wish all success for the webinar, and I hope participants of both EPCS and ICAI will be immensely benefited by these deliberations. Thank you so much. Thank you, ICAI, once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alok Chaturvedi ji, for your great words. Good as far as the guidance is concerned. The strength of these two institutions will definitely going to pave the way for the good ecosystem, good policy framework to be guided to the government also, and this strength will be 1 plus 1 will be proved to be a more than 2, and it will be equal to 11 only. So now I'll request Bhuvnesh Seth ji, the Vice Chairman of the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs, for his special to the our members and the members of the Promotion Council also. Over to Bhuvnesh Seth sir.
Good afternoon.
Just 2 words for you.
Yeah.
I'll not speak much about him, but I can only share in his words for the actions which we look forward with the joining of both of us together. Over to Seth Saab.
Shri Alok Chaturvedi ji, Director General EPCS, with whose joining definitely there is a change which will be there and will be developing more now. And thanks to Shri Ashok Batra ji, a well-known indirect tax specialist. We'll be pleased to hear from him, other members and participants of ICAI and EPCS. I'm happy to be a part of EPCS and ICAI joint webinar on regulatory and taxation ecosystem for EOUs and SEZs in India. The right, you can say, choice of, you can say, you have chosen the right subject. As you are all aware that EPCS entered in Memorandum of Understanding with ICAI, and I'm sure this will be carried to larger heights. We will organize jointly events for the industry, participating in international events for the furtherance of promotion, jointly leading the trade delegation abroad for the study of best practice for EOUs and SEZs, globally organizing relevant studies, and disseminate information and statement to media on developments like budget, state, and industry-specific developments. EOU Export Promotion Council, Chaturvedi ji has already explained. I would like to just add few that in the year 2019-20, we had 899 crores of turnover. Exports from EOUs and SEZ sector in the current scenario is down by 33%, and particularly in the merchandise sector, export during the year till 13th October 2020. Though software and sector shows positive growth of 11%, thereby a degrowth of 8% in total keep manual accounts. Faceless assessment will force the taxpayers to shift from manual to electronic form, which is no doubt time consuming, and that cyber security might be an issue with the faceless that we would like to discuss. Excessive litigation. Faceless assessment would lead to increased litigation, which is now at present what we presume. The Madras High Court ordered that the e-assessment procedure can lead to erroneous assessment of if officers are not able to understand the transactions and statement of accounts of an SSC without a personal hearing. So such issues will be there, which will be, I think, most of the questions will be there and that we'll be discussing. And at present GCSE, there has been issue with the refund of EOUs and SEZs. That blocks our capital investment for 2 to 3 months. That is also a big burden that we would like it should be sorted out. And there will be many more GST, you can say, queries which which will be putting up through my staff and all. And I'm quite hopeful that those such knowledge sharing initiative, this MOU between EPCS and ICAI will prove to be a milestone in providing best services to both the EOUs, SEZ community and the ICAI members so as to attract more investment, create more jobs and earn maximum foreign exchange for the country. I wish all the sexes to join webinar and hope that participants will have maximum advantage of their deliberations in this webinar. Thank you. Thank you. Over to Tuksa.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh Sethji, for really being kind enough to join this joint program and this with your address. You have brought so many good things to be taken care by our profession also, because there are the issues which we normally talk about, the finances. Naturally, unless until the trade has the finance in their hand, which are being blocked with the government, so how the cycle of the trade will be carried forward? Definitely, Ashok Batraji is there as a expert into the indirect tax. He knows the issues related with the stuck up amount with the refund in the GST regime, or the whether it is the excess paid duty at a different forum, through the different mechanism of the revenue collection by the government. So those things will be taken forward. Friends, now we are moving towards the technical session. We have a 3 session divided into the 3 parts. One is related with this session 1, which will be taken care of by myself only. This is a SEZ Act rules, policy perspective and the EOU provisions. Second will be on the recent changes in the direct tax regime, including faceless assessment and appeals by our CA, Dr. Girish Ahuja ji. He'll be joining as per the schedule. And the third session will be taken care of by our none other than CA Ashok Batra ji. Emerging scenario in the indirect tax regime, that will be taken care of by CA Ashok Batra ji. Let me go to my technical session. So friends, I'll be sharing a screen also with each one of you. Yeah, is my screen is visible?
Yes, visible.
Yes, it is visible.
So friends, let us just before going to the system or before going to the technical understanding, let us understand how the things starts moving 29 years back. If we go with 29 years ago in the year 1991, a great change which has been admired or which was been looked by the leaders of the nation then. It was a journey for the economic liberalization, opening its door to the globalization and the market forces. We normally say it is not the one's own wishes and the wisdom. It is the market forces. It is the external forces. It is the forces which everyone looks at, which allows you to look at how the things has to be moved in, and the rest of the world subsequent to that starts investing it, starts looking at it, India in a different manner, whether it is the consumer choice, whether it is the consumption country or the investment country at a different point of time. But COVID-19 has a different scenario, like the figure which will be shared with each one of you. But if we talk about the other country we normally compare with the China. China is a focused and enabled limited number of zones. It is not large number of zones like we have, but they have a limited number of zones, but they have a strategy which is different from India and which does not sounds to be it is applicable to India, because every country, like if we talk about the Indonesia, they also developed the economic zones, but they first showcase tangible results and then establish themselves, and they move subsequent for the further and the future investments. And same is with the Vietnam also. They have also the economic zones. The concept is definitely everyone's objective is same, the economic growth. But India is with a different perspective at a different point of time. If we talk about the SEZ, SEZ does not mean that it is related with the manufacturing sector only. It is with the service sector also, now financial segments also, and now it is for the trading sector also, FT, warehousing and trading also. These all are being looked after in a different way, but we have a only single law, single rules for each and everyone, which needs to be looked at in a different manner. If we are looking for the services has to be given additional advantage, because there are certain disadvantageous position for the service sector. Like if we talk about, we read even the this definition of the services itself. What it says, services means such tradable services which are covered under the General Agreement on Trade in Services annexed at IB to the agreement established in the WTO, concluded its Marcus on the 15th day of the April 1994. The worst thing written in it must earn the foreign exchange. That means within the country, if one is established in the SEZ, if he wants to service to the other person, so where will be the free convertible currency? It cannot be. But that is not the case with the product. So we have to look at the certain changes are being required in the existing system. The certain, whether it is the parameters which relate with the taxation or the economic law, which needs to be taken forward in a manner so that every segment is different. Financial segment is different. Service other than the financial is different. The trade is different. Manufacturing is different. Everything cannot be common in the parameters. If we talk about, if I'm reading from a book where it is being suggested, alternative to Hong Kong is Andaman and Nicobar Island, by developing it as a IFSC, International Financial Services Center. Basically, it is being considered by somewhere, or it has been a thought in the mind of the government also, that Andaman Nicobar has to be developed like it is like a Hong Kong. So what it needs to have with? It needs to be have with a clear-cut policy for the financial sector. Though policy is there, like our Alok Chaturvedi ji has briefed it, it is a lower rate of taxation as far as the MAT is concerned, yeah, alternative tax is concerned, rather than the full tax. But the message whatsoever the government is giving to the fraternity now, business community now, the time has gone. It is now on the quality basis. Now, on the basis of the quality, we have to show to the world that we are a country with a better quality. Better pricing has to be paid with if you want a better quality. So that message is being given by the government. But how far this is correct or this is wrong, I'm not going to comment it. But there is definitely the policy has to be with a clear mind. The execution has to be looked into in the same manner. Ease of doing business has to be provided to the business community in the same manner. It is not like the administration is not though faceless, and these things are definitely going to give a better position, but challenges are there. It is not the political front, it is the diplomacy front which has to be given a path for the better understanding. It is well said, technology's relevance is much more better than the earlier one. finance is the requirement of the businesses. Trade has to be carried with in a manner so that we must be the leader at the globe. And same way, the data which we normally publish with today, if we talk about the service sector data, even the government may not be able to understand what is to be alternate scheme to the SEZs to be given back to the business community. The data is not so strong with the government even, or the different system driven our institution also. Our usage of the institution is also not been so proactive, like we talk about we have a parameters of moving with the as a hand-holding institution with the government. Our structure of our constitution or our nation is like this. We are being gone through the highest profile at the different position, like we have as per the constitution, we have a different ministries. We have a different departments under the government, then autonomous body like ICAI, different administrative or the different institution like Export Promotion Council also with us, different. But where is the synchronization? Where is the collaboration? Like today we entered into a collaboration with this promotion council. That is the strength, and we all have to understand with, unless until we take them forward, like ICAI, foreign trade institution also, different promotion councils also, together with the diplomats overseas, so that best can be given. Services we are surplus with $82 billion. Services we are surplus with $82 billion. That means services has surpassed. As far as the globalization is concerned, we have put forward our, whether it is our software services or the ITES related services or the other services also. If we talk about the April to September, we are being, though we are a trade surplus because of the one reason or the other, our imports has brought very much down by 35%. Export is though little lesser by 16% only. We are down. We are trade surplus, and the services we are the surplus with $41 billion. If we talk about the overall Indian economy, we are the 5th largest economy by nominal GDP, and has leapfrogged France and UK also by way of our better understanding. We have a competitive edge, and we can well understand with what all are our competitive edge. Strategic location of the country. The consumer base is quite high. We are a 31% urban population. Ease of doing business. Definitely we have strengthened ourselves in a different economic law. Like GST has been brought in. GST is one of the steps. Same is the IBC also, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code also. That has also brought us by way of the World Bank calculation of the ease of doing business. Competitive corporate income tax been reduced 22% plus surcharge, and for the new manufacturing sector 15% plus surcharge, total 17.16. But in the case of the certain other competitive things or for the startups, there are certain other incentives also. For the earlier system of the SEZs, if it is been established till 31st March 21, by way of having approvals till 31st March 2020, we have other benefits also. Rich resource repository with strong indigenous availability of primary raw material for the manufacturing and lower cost side. Medium age of only 29. Yes, this is a great strength for the country. Growing digital penetration and adoption by each and every individual. It's not the urban population, it is the rural population also equally adopting the digitalization in our system. So that is the great strength. And if we understand the commodity, what all are the commodities which are largely being exported or the imported into India. Today also we have in the newspaper, it's a basically production link incentive schemes that you understand it is giving a direction of the government, it is giving a mindset of the governments what India needs to develop with. how the India has to take on, because we are living in a dynamic world. We have some concept related with the Atmanirbhar. We have a social and political issues with us. We are a social economy. We are not and we are a democratic economy. Reformation and globalization. We do the changes we must rather than we should. It is a must requirement. We must reform ourselves. We must transform ourselves, and we must be global with a different mindset. So those are the policy needs of the hour. It is internal as well as the external understanding of the business. We have to, and promotion council has to play the best of the role. Our institute has to give the best to the promotion council and best to the government also. So we all have to understand the commodities wise. Petroleum products, pulse, precious and semi-precious stones, drug formulations and biological. We understand with drug formulation, 60% of the India's words requirement as far as the as far as the vaccination part is concerned, you will see how it is India will be serving to the globe on a humanity ground also. Electric machine and equipments, iron and steel, ready-made garments, cotton, including accessories, organic chemicals, motor vehicles, car, product of iron and steels, and so many. You see, like every state has a different state policies also, state industrial policies also. UP has come with a policy like one district, one product. Maharashtra has a different to reach to the $1 trillion economy. UP is also paying the way to understand and how they can achieve $1 trillion economy. But that is the state-wise. But if we talk about our states, 29 states or 28 states, every state is not equal. We have to understand how the benefits should go to the of the policy of the government to be equally giving benefit to the different states also. That is the another challenge around us. So friends, now let us understand the special economic zone. India, with a liberalization economy having been understood with way back in the year 2000 have come out with the SEZ policy in the EXIM policy itself, export and import policy itself, though we normally now talk about the foreign trade policy. But in the year 2005, India come out with a law itself, backed by the regulations, backed by the rules. SEZ Act backed by the rules also. The main feature of the policy was to provide tax holidays, exemption from the import duties, and single window clearance for the central and the state governments. Unique feature of the SEZ scheme is that SEZ is considered to be a foreign territory. If you do business with the SEZ or the SEZ developers, don't feel like you are doing business with the Indian in the domestic tariff area. It's a different law, different system to understand with, different nomenclature. It is being treated like as far as the tariff is concerned, different trade law is concerned, it's a different system. So consider like you are dealing in a foreign territory. Consider like you are doing an export with them. Or if anything is being bought from there, it is an import. The objective of the SEZ is a foreign investments to be enhanced, increase the exports, create jobs, promote regional development, generation of additional economic activities, promotion of the export of the goods and services, promotion of the investments from the domestic and foreign sources, creation of the employment opportunities, development of the infrastructure facilities. Though we ourselves feel like we are a infrastructural deficient country in ourselves, it's a thought which government also by way of the policy level, whether it is the foreign trade policy, we understand we are infrastructural inefficient. That is why we give the incentive or we give the promotional schemes to the exporter community. With that understanding, we have developed our mind. And to understand a fact sheet is being brought in before each one of you. I think this PPT is visible. It is very much there on the screen. we have a notified, some formal approvals are there, some notified SEZs are there, some number of in principle approvals are there, and operational SEZs are there. We have a 255 operational SEZ as on 30th of June 2020. 25 are the multi-product SEZs. We need to have a different, as far as the zoning system, different requirements of the land on a contiguous basis is there for the multi-products, for the sector-specific products, for the IT and ITES zones, SEZs. So we have we have approved 5,476 units are concerned. If we really understand with, so we have a certain parameters to look at how the growth has happened with. As far as the 2005, when we started with some of the existing system EPZs and the EOUs, SEZs were taken forward as and been approved as a existing SEZ. They were having the coverage of the 2,172.75 hectare of the land. It was being land by with the state state government promoted SEZs or the central government promoted SEZs. And notified SEZs under the SEZs got an area of 39,910 hectares. Now total notified area is coming around 42,000 hectares. Formally approved, which has been formally approved, but it is still to be still to come like a in the operation. Total area under the SEZ is now 47,584 hectares, and this is the great land bank with them. Maybe some may be productive, some may still be unproductive. Government must think about non-production, or we talk about the NPA, like we talk about in the banking system, we talk about the non-performing assets. Same way we must understand with where there is a non-performing assets lying with in the either as a land or any system which is not giving best back to the country, has to be done away with. Same way in the system of the SEZs also, we think about some land is vacant. It is vacant for the years and years. So then that has to be drawn into in the control, or that has to be brought into the productive system. That is the need of the hour. If we talk about the exports, we have a 7,01,179 crore rupee of the exports as far as the 17-18 is concerned, and 19-20 7,96,669 crore, growth of 13.62% over 18-19. That is the 19-20 I am sharing with you, and 18-19 7,01,179. There is a growth of 13%, and we talk about how much is the percentage of the, if it is under the SEZ, so it is almost 86% is being exported. There are certain deemed export, certain not counted because DTA sales. So these are basically the quantum we are exporting from the SEZs. SEZs we are exporting to the tune of, if we talk about the in the dollar terms, 1,12,770 US dollar, which comes to 7,96,669 crores of the rupee terms. That is the quantum of the exports we are doing for the 1920. And it started with only meager figure of 5,191 way back in the year 2006. You see, like quantum of the numbers by which we have grown with. This is a huge number. The percentage of the total number of the SEZs we have with us. ITES is the best of the number. 129 ITES and the electronic SEZs. We have the second is the multi products. Then we have the others also, engineering also, FTWZ also, biotechnology also, food processing also, non-conventional energy also, handicrafts also, gems and jewelry also, footwear, leather also, pharmaceuticals and the chemicals also. So these are the numbers with which we are moving forwards with a greater strength. And naturally, the another direction needs to be given at the policy front also, in the execution front also, because though we have become techno savvy, and digitalization is the one of the move of the government, like Make in India, Digital India, and served from India, or we talk about the Skill India. So those are the parameters by which we have grown with. The digitalization is definitely giving us a better administrative, better understanding, better control by the government at a different point of time. So salient features, just to share with each one of you, it's a basically you see like there are certain parameters by which this SEZs are being developed, whether it is the income tax 10AA. Yes, one, if approval is being granted, sunset clause is already over. This has already been done away with. But if the approval has been granted till 31st March 2020, and the manufacture or the this production will be started before 31st March 21, so then benefit will be there to the units. Exemption from payment of the excise duty, zero taxability, zero rated under the GST also, like our Ashok Batraji, our speaker on the indirect tax, he will be deliberating upon the zero rated under section 16 of the IGST Act. And MEIS and the SEIS as the benefits, though foreign trade policy covers so many benefits to the DTA, but SEZ Act has been brought independent. So independent under the system, all custom duties, all taxabilities, all benefits are being drawn with, are there, very much there with the SEZs, whether it is the custom benefits for the import of the capital goods, import of the intermediaries, raw material, components or anything to be imported with, or benefits from the any common services center, or even from the DTA also, if anything, any services or any goods is being brought into from the DTA. So either the zero duty is there or the refund is there. So those are the, but in the case of the SEZ, 100% FDI is allowed in all the manufacturing sector except few sectors. Profit allowed to be repatriated. Even the dividend balancing requirement does not require to be followed without any dividend balancing requirement. Under the central sales tax, where the taxability is still there under the CST or the local law also, like petroleum, diesel, petrol, diesel, crude oil, or the other 5 items under the petroleum category. So then exemption is there under the CST. So changes in the, we talk about SEZ. Before that, there was a program related with the EPZ. EPZ was basically a thought of the government, and in 1965, the first in Kandla in the whole of the Asia. So those were the thought with which we have to understand with the government is, it is not like our brainchild, brain is not working for the growth. Our whole of the machinery, whether it is the government or the different administrative systems or in the professional networks, always look beyond, always find out the new opportunities, always look like our profession also. It earlier started with the only in the accounting and the taxation or the auditing profession. But now it has moved, it's given a direction to the complete business solution provider. Now each and every experts, whatsoever you need be, whether it is the restructuring, whether it is the system of the funding, financial, whether it is the technology, whether it is how the trade to be developed with, different business models, business understanding is being taken forward by this profession also. Same is the government also. Government, it is not with the internal economy. External economy has to be given the same kind of mindset. Ki unless until we prove ourselves economically very strong and we are a leader in the globe, so it is not the other foreign policy will stand together. The economy policy of the country, if it is weak, the other policy also going to impact it with. It is the holistic approach. It is the approach of the integration of the relationship. Integration of the relationship cannot come without the commercial relationship. Everyone, every country, whether it is the developed nation, whether it is the developing nation, whether it is the landlocked countries, whether it is the least developed countries, they have their own understanding to have a business development, to have a growth for their own nation also. That can only be done by way of the ease of doing business, better business relationship, better competitive supply of the chain, supply of the requisites, and same way we also promote our imports to be taken forward. Administrative setup of the SEZs, naturally it's a three-tier board of approvals at the headed by the Secretary, Department of Commerce and other members. Then approval committee at the zonal level, development commission headed by the development commissioner. Our Alok Chaturvedi ji know whole of the system because he has been there with the department at a different point of time. The working is very smooth. Working is with a committee, and on an individual level also it is quite smooth. The setup of the whether it is unit or whether it is whole of the SEZ developments, it has a own benefits which has been drawn into through the SEZ Act, and some, if it is been something is not been carried with or something is been not taken forward as per the law, so then Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act also come on the picture, come on the way to penalize also. Those are the provisions. To understand with GST regime, naturally it's a quite easy. It's a zero rated, which our speaker will be deliberating upon. Our another speaker has also joined us, CA Dr. Girish Ahuja ji. So I welcome him also. But as soon as I'm through with this another 5-7 minutes, so I'll request him thereafter. So this GST regime, it's a quite easy transformation from the existing system to the new system of the GST. The same manner, all the benefits is it been in existence. Either the refund is been allowed with or exemption is been there with for the SEZ units, SEZ developers and the co-developers also. Supply from the DT also, and same way within the SEZ to the another unit of the SEZs also. So those are the parameters, either bond or the LUT, those are from the DTA to the SEZs. Those our speaker Ashok Batraji will be deliberating upon on these subjects. It's like if any supply is being taken from the SEZ, it is equal to the imports. Accordingly, the custom duty and integrated GST, IGST will be levied with. And if it is from DTA to the SEZs, so then it all is exempted. Same is the case. So friends, just to have a little question whatsoever has come so far to us, and export duties or the as per the custom tariff act at the time of supply from the DTA to the SEZs, certainly no duty to be charged. Single window clearance, that was the objective. It operates at the two levels. One at the approval authority level, another as an administrative level at the local level itself. Interministerial body, board of approval is there, headed by the Secretary Commerce. Activities of the SEZs and the unit approval committee is there at the zonal level. Subcontracting, yes, you can subcontract it. Job working is allowed as per the GST Act also, as per the IGST law also, and our GST law also. But within 180 days or the time allowed, 10AA, yes, it is been, if it is been made operational, and as far as the approval is already been granted till 31st March 2020, then only this benefit is available. 100% for the first 5 years, then 50% for the another. If it is been given as a special economic zone reinvestment reserve account and utilized accordingly, then for another 5 years for the 50%. Net foreign exchange earnings, that has to be understood with. That is the area, gray area where one has to understand with. It is whatsoever you are bringing there from the foreign, by paying the free convertible currency, you have to generate more than that. That has to be clearly understanding that you cannot go without it. If it is not been done, so then as per the provisions of the Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act, penalty or the requisites so-called notice will be issued, and that will be taken forward accordingly. Obligation and monitoring, yes, at a development commissioner level, unit approval committee, whatsoever is been assigned to you, annual performance report, quarterly performance report, all reporting mechanism are there. Unit which have not completed 1 year of the operations shall not be basically monitoring as its own monitoring system. Now digital system you have to upload on the website of the approving authority, then automatically it will be taken care of by the respective department. Unit having negative net foreign exchange in the first and the second year will be placed under the watch list, and if continues even after second year, then necessary actions as per the Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act shall be undertaken with. If we talk about the comparison between, as far as the income tax is concerned, I have already discussed with it will be shared by our Dr. Girish Ahuja ji also. Till 2020 things were different, but if it is been executed, the operationalized till 31st March 21, things were different. But subsequent to that, it is one and the equal for the STP or the EOUs and the domestic exporter also. It will one and the same. Minimum alternate tax, yes, it is very much there in the SEZs also, EOUs also, and the domestic also. But for the IFSC, things are little different. It is a more advantageous because India wants a promotion of the financial sectors here in our country to own bound also and off bound also, basically in-house and out-house. GST, yes, upfront exemption from the payment of GST on all type of goods of the services required by the authorized operations by the SEZ units are the developer. SEZ, STPI or the EOUs or the other BTP and all that. No upfront exemption, refund claim benefits is there. Domestic exporter also, no upfront exemption, but you can claim the benefits and under the refund mechanism. Custom duty upfront in the case of the SEZ, upfront in the case of the EOU. In the domestic case, you can get the benefit under the advance authorization scheme of the foreign trade policy, or if it is a capital goods, under the EPCG schemes. Otherwise, you can get the benefit under the normal input tax credit scheme, which will be refundable if you are an exporter. DTA sales of the goods equal to the no restriction on the DTA sale, but it will be positive net foreign exchange earnings and equal to the imports duty whatsoever is been there. The same is with the EOU also. The domestic exporter, yes, naturally there is no restriction. Minimum investment conditions, SEZ no conditions. EOU, yes, 1 crore. This compliance requirement, yes, it is everywhere. MPR, SERF software in the case of the soft tax, APR, MPR, QPR, same is with the EOUs also. And in the case of the domestic exporter, ITS non-STPI unit has to registered with the STPI as a non-STPI unit. So those are basically to understand with, it's a hassle-free environment. Though class infrastructure in the SEZs, but still there is a room for the improvement in the policy, room for improvement in the infrastructure, room for improvement in the working system of the administration also. So those are still, and if we talk about the ITS, work from home, yes, it is allowed with the permission, with a different category that has to be understood with. Baba Kalyani Committee also has suggested for how the India has to be looking forward for the way forward for the development of the best of the economy with the WTO agreements to understand with. It is not like export has to be given privilege. It at the same time job creation investment committed, promoting women in the job, value addition, technology differentiation, trade potential, priority industry. Those has also to be taken forward in the mind once we are framing with the 3E mechanism along with it. EOU has a different promote export, but there are certain common things in the EOUs and SEZs also. But EOUs are being governed under the Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act. Under the policy framed thereunder is the foreign trade policy. Its governing system is little different. Here is no exemption automatically. It's a by way of the application of the Advance Authorization Scheme or the EOU scheme and the benefit of the MEIS and the SEIS. SEIS benefit is not there even if you are an STPI. That is basically some kind of disbenefit, or we talk about the discrimination, which I do not know what is the reason. If I'm a service provider, accounting and auditing services or the financial services, and I establish myself as a STPI unit, so I'll not be given the benefit of the SEIS. But if it is under the DTA or if it is under the SEZ, the benefit is there. But if it is under the STPI, benefit is not there. So those are little some different thing which has to be taken forward, which has to be understood with. Obligation and monitoring, yes, it's under the bonding system of the custom authorities. That is the system of the custom bonded warehousing system, IFSC. I have already like Gift City in the Gujarat government has a very much thrust on these subjects because government wants to promote this international finance tax city. Like I have shared with you, Andaman Nicobar. Whole like it will be developed like a Hong Kong. Maybe this is at a very first stage. This is a thought has come in. So that is the understanding. IFSC, the services given there under, and it is a services which we normally look at what we expect from the country as a complete financial services provider. So those will be the benefits. Sunset clause is no sunset clause in the case of the IFSC yet. SEZ sunset clause is already there. Exemption is there in the different categories. Same is with the SEZ. Same is with the FTWZ also. Here MAT is 9%. Normal is 15%. IFSC 9%. FTWZ naturally it's for the promotion of the traded goods also. Warehousing, then traded from there, but within the timeline you have to put for the local usage, or you have to re-export from there itself. So those are the conditions. Salient feature is same as is the SEZ. The custom duty exemption is there. Export incentives, if it is from the brought from the DTA, then only it is there. If it is been imported and exported from there itself, then benefit is not there. GST same benefit is there. So those are the features of the FTWZs also. So friends, these were the points by which we can really understand with the growth can only happen with the best of the policy, best of the execution of the policy. Once it is very clear, yes, policy are very much advised me to once the hands are been hold with the promotion council, so we must start with the first program and using little knowledge on the subjects related with the SEZ and these matters. So you must be one of the speakers also to understand with. So I am very grateful to the committee members for approving this program to be taken forward with for the benefit of our members and the members of the EPCES also. So with these words, now I am over to the second technical session. Today I had dual role, being one as a part of the organizer, another as a part of the as far as the speaker also, another speaker also. So with this words, I'll be going for the next technical session. Dr. Girish Ahuja ji. Ahuja Sahab.
I'm there.
Sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Welcome
sir.
on behalf of the committee, on behalf of the Export
Pleasure,
Promotion Council. We have two gentlemen and two.
Yes, I am seeing Mr. Director General Alok Chaturvedi ji and of course Vice Chairman Bhunesh Seth ji. I will just
Ganesh,
their name.
Ganesh Saab is a business oriented person. He is a great entrepreneur, industrialist, and giving best to the SEZs and EOUs. DG Alok Chaturvedi ji, he was earlier with the DG of the DGFT also. He was a director there with the directorate, the first person there. And at a different point of time as a IAS officer, as a bureaucrat, at a different position in the government. Lastly, he served in the bureaucracy there as a DG, and then he is there with the promotion council as a DG of the export promotion council. The third gentleman, you know, he is a good friend of you. Ashok Batra ji is also with us. तो ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਰਾਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਿਲ ਨਾਲ ਕਨੈਕਟਡ ਹੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ so you are connected with him from the heart like you are connected with me just to before inviting you just to share with my part don't there is no need to introduce you but we have some export promotion council members also here that is why there is a need to have a little feeling to them to give the personality like you to before them. Ahuja Saab is a veteran direct tax expert. He has been with a different committee of the government of India for the transformation, the reformation of the taxation law of the country. He did his graduation from the SRCC and the PhD from the Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. Fellow member of our institute, Chartered Accountant Institute, at a different forum all across the globe, not only in India. If we talk about whether it is US, whether it is Dubai, whether it is London, he has been a speaker in almost world's best of the countries. 35 years, more than 35 years of the teaching experience as a professional also, guide to the different corporates also. And a very great contributor for this our profession also, a profession of chartered accountants. I know I have a journey to start with when I 92 in our time when direct tax was the toughest subject in our final exam of the chartered accountancy. That because of the guidance and the support I got from the Greece Avjaji in my student time. So friends, with these words, I'll request Dr. C.A. Greece Avjaji to share his words and focusing on the faceless as far as the scrutiny and the faceless whatsoever the best in the faceless system, digital system of the country. Over to CA Dr. Greece Avjaji.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. Director General of the EPICC, Shri Alok Chaturvedi ji, Vice Chairman Bhunesh Seth ji, of course, my friend and indirect tax expert Ashok Batra ji, हंसराज चुग जी, दी चेयरमैन, इनका नाम मैंने बाद में लिया क्योंकि बत्रा जी से थोड़े छोटे हैं, लेकिन ऑल्दो चेयरमैन तो है ही हमारे कमेटी फॉर डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड एंड WTO. Dheeraj Khandelwal ji is not seen, but he may be there. Dheeraj Khandelwal ji, the other dignitary sitting in front of me, ladies and gentlemen. Well, friend, I have been the victim of this faceless assessment scheme. Why would you say that victim? Because everyone is saying, sir, what have you done? Let me tell you, I have not done anything. I was told by the department and of course the PMO that you have to draft faceless assessment scheme in your new Income Tax Act. I was a member of the task force to draft the new income tax law, for which the report has already been submitted to report has already been submitted on 18th August 2019. I don't know what is going to happen about that act, but many things have been taken from there. At that particular point, we suggested to the government that let us not have faceless as a national level. Let us first go for faceless at a zonal level. Once it is fruitful, once you see that it has become, it is successful, you may enlarge the scope and take it to the national level. But let me tell you, the PM, our dear PM, did not agree. He said nothing doing. we have to do operation only in one go, and everyone has to do it. I remember on 1st of July 2017 when GST was launched through our at Institute Chartered Accountant of India, I remember we got little, I would not say anything, something or advice or whatever I would say from the PM regarding some abrasions or what you call the chartered accountants are involved in certain things. And similar thing he has done for the department. He says nothing doing. I want to remove the corruption. Let me tell you, sir, he agreed, but the department is demotivated. He said, do you think that we are corrupt? It means there is no way, we should not say that they are corrupt. Maybe few officers there may be corrupt, but everything, the whole system is not corrupt. But the way he used the word, I want to do away with the corruption in this country. Let me tell you, sir, still today, the income tax department, comparably, compared to the other department, is most honest. Compared to the other department. Please note the word, compared to the other department. I'm not commenting anything. Mr. Batra is seeing me. I am not commenting Mr. Batra on anything, but it is still very honest department. Still very honest. They are also after me, what have you done? The chartered accountant are also after me, what have you done? What kind of a law have you brought? Let me tell you, sir, gone are the days. There are different story altogether at one particular point of time when information was not percolating. In the department has, national, they have full department for keeping this thing. They have prepared 360-degree profile for each and every person. Whosoever is the SSC, there is a 360-degree profile. When we were framing the law, I just wanted to see what kind of a profile you have made. He said, you please give your PAN number. I gave the PAN number. In the first screen, whatever came in there, that what is my name, address, where I assessing officer, things and all that. The second screen was how much assessments are pending, which assessment pending, which is not pending, what are the dues from me or what is the refund due to me and all that. I thought this is nothing. The next thing which came up was what are my balances in various bank account, saving bank account. They have the complete detail of saving bank account balance as on 31st March of that particular year. Next thing they show me. Like I said, show me the other thing. How many FDRs I have, fixed deposit, in which bank I have. I said, this you can take from 26 years, what is new about it? He said, wait. Even if those FDR where a TDS has not been deducted, means the amount of tax deducted was less than 40,000, there was no tax deducted because income credited. They had complete detail of each and every FDR where the tax has not been deducted. Then they showed me how many shares I have, which company shares I have. I was surprised. They had the complete detail of the share I was owning. Next thing, they showed me a detail of the units, mutual fund unit which I was having. And I said, wait, there was, Chakravarti sir, there was one unit, one mutual fund where I also did not know that there were 2 lakh rupees lying there. I did also not know. Why? That UTI time about 20 years back, I had deposited about 10,000 rupees at that particular time in a growth scheme. I changed my address. That time even PAN number was not very popular. So they may be approaching me, I didn't know. But it was there. Next day I went to the Unit Trust of India and got 2 lakh rupees. Thank you very much, Income Tax Department, for the kind information you had with me. Then they showed me what are my assets, my liability, how many times I have traveled abroad. They had complete detail. How many times I have traveled abroad, they had complete detail from which port, from where to this place, and from where I have come back. They had the detail. And thus, by the way, I asked them, sir, I took a ticket from Delhi, New York, Delhi. But what about the other places from New York to California or California to other places that you went? How do you know that? He said, you yourself tell us. I said, how come? Let's say that you put it, whatever photographs are there, on your Facebook, and we say, we like it. We like it. And they have liked my Facebook also. And they have noted down where I have traveled after New York. They had complete detail. Arey sir, these ladies of the house, they go to the wedding and loaded with the jewelry. And they put it on the Facebook. They say, we like it more. They are liking everything. They are tracing everything what I am trying to understand. They told me we have your internal travel also. I said, how come that you know about my internal travel? Because look here, he said, you are a frequent traveler. They told me you have visited 248 times during this year. I said, 248 times, but I have not spent even a single penny on my visit. He said, that we don't know. You explained to the department, but you have traveled 248 times. I said the tickets were sent by the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India or by the branches. I went, traveled there, came back. He said, we are not aware. I said, I traveled to Bahrain also, Kuwait also. Complete detail they had. Although I did not spend anything. Now what should I do? They have the complete information. I tell you, sir, even today, when dividend has become taxable in the hands of the recipient, even ₹40 dividend you have received, that will come into your 26 years and you will have to show that. Don't think that the information only of the TDS deducted from dividend, that information is there. You just download your 26 years. You will find each and every amount of dividend which you have received during the year. It is being shown in your 26 AS account, whether it is 50 rupees, 200 rupees, or 500 rupees, or 600 rupees. You wait and watch, Mr. Hansraj. You wait and watch. Even the donation which you make, they will be not giving you any deduction of donation unless it is there in your list. थोड़े दिन रुक जाइए, वो कहेंगे ये रहा आपकी रिटर्न, ये हमारी इंफॉर्मेशन है, साइन कर दीजिए, बस और कोई काम नहीं है, हमने तैयार कर लिया आपकी रिटर्न. So much of information, I tell you, they have financial intelligence unit loaded with information. It is technologically so strong. They were not able to use that information earlier. Now they are going to use that information to the possible, technologically possible. So with the folded head, I'm saying everyone, please note, gone are the days. This is digital days, computer days. Nothing can be deleted from your computer. Nothing can be deleted from your laptop. Whatever you delete, it can be retrieved. Hansraji, it can be retrieved. Don't change anything in your laptop or a computer. It can be retrieved. You know the case of Riya Chakravarti. Even WhatsApp they have retrieved. Even the video they have retrieved. So digital, this is digital India, and India has become very strong. Let me tell you, gone are the days. मैंने तो लोगों को कह दिया है, मैं 100 चूहे खा के हज में चला गया हूं. आपको भी हज में जाना पड़ेगा. अगर हंसराज जी, अगर आपने 98 खाए हैं तो सिर्फ 2 और खा लेना, उसके बाद हज में चले जाना. मैं बता रहा हूं, मोदी जी छोड़ेंगे नहीं. और कोई सोचेगा मोदी जी चले जाएंगे. अरे कहीं नहीं जाएंगे, मोदी जी वापस आएंगे ही आएंगे 2022 में भी. तो सोच के चलना, जमाना बदल गया है और अपने आप को बदल लो, नहीं तो मोदी जी आपको बदल देंगे. तो अच्छा यही है कि समझ जाओ. और ये जो आप क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हो फेसलेस असेसमेंट स्कीम में क्या होगा, अरे सब कुछ ठीक होगा. टीदिंग ट्रबल तो शुरू में होती है. जब पहले आपने वो जब डिजिटल हुआ था आपका क्वार्टरली रिटर्न ऑफ दी टीडीएस और 26 एस नहीं था, तो आप कितने परेशान होते थे. अब देखना थोड़े दिनों में परेशानी आपकी बढ़ जाएगी, लेकिन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कम भी हो जाएगी. पहले तो होता था 143(2) का नोटिस आया, हंसराज जी के पास क्लाइंट आया तो वो कहते थे हूं छोड़ना, मैं हूं ना, मैं देख लूंगा. तो छोड़ो ना, आप जाओ, बैठो जाके, मैं हूं ना, मैं देख लूंगा. हंसराज जी, अब आप कुछ नहीं देख सकते, आपका कोई कनेक्शन काम नहीं आएगा. नो क्वेश्चन, इट इज ऑल फेसलेस. अब नॉलेज काम आएगी, नॉलेज और कुछ काम नहीं आएगी. Gone are the days where there was connection. अब कनेक्शन काम नहीं आएगा। और इसका नाम फेस वैल्यू नहीं है, फेसलेस है, ये फेसलेस है। अरे पहले तो आप खड़े हो जाते थे, फेस वैल्यू होती थी आपकी। अरे यार चुग साहब आ गए, सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर हैं और अक्लमंद आदमी हैं, ये आ गए, चलिए इनका काम तो करना ही पड़ेगा। अब चुग साहब का काम पता नहीं कहां पर हो रहा है। चुग साहब अपीयर भी हो रहे हैं तो वो उनको जानते हैं कि नहीं जानते, क्योंकि हो सकता है रिटर्न आप दिल्ली में भर रहे हो और असेसमेंट आपकी जुमरी तलैया में हो रही हो। मेरा बात समझ रहे हो, जुमरी तलैया भी बना नहीं है सेंटर, बट बन जाएगा जुमरी तलैया सेंटर। अब क्या किया, देखिए लोगों को समझ में नहीं आई। फाइनेंस एक्ट 2018, बत्रा साहब, फाइनेंस एक्ट 2018 में ही ये प्रोग्राम शुरू कर दिया था बाय इंटरसर्टिंग सेक्शन 143, 3A, 3B एंड 3C इन दी इनकम टैक्स एक्ट। किसी ने बॉदर ही नहीं किया उसमें। तो उन्होंने कहा था द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में मेक ए स्कीम बाय नोटिफिकेशन इन द ऑफिशियल गजेट फॉर असेसमेंट ऑफ इनकम अंडर सेक्शन 143 और 144 so as to bring greater efficiency. They have to get transparency, accountability, so as to avoid interface between the assessing officer and the assessee during the course of the proceeding. And second function क्या बताया था, optimization of resources by economics of scale and functional specialization. Please do the word हंसराज जी, functional specialization में आएगा। एंड थर्ड था देयर विल बी यूनिट बेस्ड असेसमेंट। ये कहा गया था आपका ग्रुप बेस्ड असेसमेंट होगी विद डायनेमिक ज्यूरिडिक्शन। इसके लिए सर इन्होंने नोटिफिकेशन निकाला पहले 2019 में। वो नोटिफिकेशन था सर नोटिफिकेशन 61 डेटेड 12th of September 2019 where they introduced a e-assessment proceeding. It was introduced by notification number 61 dated 12th of September 2019 and initially 58,322 cases were picked up for e-proceeding. ये तो शुरू था। अब क्या किया हंसराज जी, इस नोटिफिकेशन को उन्होंने अमेंड कर दिया बाय नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 60 डेटेड 13th of August 2020। दोनों को मर्ज करके एक नई स्कीम निकाली जिसका नाम रखा फेसलेस असेसमेंट स्कीम। पहले नाम था ई असेसमेंट स्कीम। नेम हैज बीन चेंज विच कॉल्ड इट फेसलेस असेसमेंट स्कीम बनाई। अब जरा ध्यान से सुनना, बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट बता रहा हूं, सुनिए जरा। हंसराज जी क्या किया है, नोटिफिकेशन निकाला 60 अमेंडेड बाय 60 13th August, लेकिन ये नोटिफिकेशन पता है कब तक का वैलिड है? ओनली अप टू 31st March 21 तक असेसमेंट इसके अंडर वैलिड है। नाउ दे हैव इंसर्टेड सेक्शन 144 कैपिटल बी इन द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट टू गेट रिड ऑफ दैट नोटिफिकेशन। मतलब 1 अप्रैल 2021 से सेक्शन 144 बी लगेगा, वो पहले था ही नहीं। और ये जो अभी पार्लियामेंट बैठी थी जिसमें रिलैक्सेशन एंड अदर प्रोविजंस आए थे एक्ट के, जो आया था ना अभी जो बिल बना और वो पास हुआ, उसमें 144 बी इंसर्ट कर दिया गया है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में। सो जो नोटिफिकेशन ये वाले हैं ये आर वैलिड एट टिल 31st March 21 एंड फ्रॉम देयर आफ्टर इसका नाम 144 बी में लड़ गया। पहले नाम रखा है नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर कॉन्स्टिट्यूट होगा, कर दिए। दे हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड वन नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर टू फैसिलिटेट द असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स विद सेंट्रलाइज चार्ज विद द नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर। एक नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर बना दिया गया सिविक सेंटर में जिसका नाम रखा गया नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर विद सेंट्रलाइज चार्ज एंड विद कंप्लीट ज्यूरिडिक्शन। हंसराज जी इसका नाम भी बदल रहे हैं। 1 अप्रैल 2021 से इसका नाम नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर नहीं रहेगा, नेशनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर हो जाएगा। ये 144 बी में नाम बदल दिया। नाम बदले जा रहे हैं, काम वही होगा। पहला नाम था नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर, अब क्या नाम हो जाएगा 1 अप्रैल 2021 से उसी का, नेशनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर. They have constituted one national face e-assessment center. They have also constituted regional e-assessment center as deemed necessary to facilitate the cadre-based control under the principal chief commissioner of income tax. उन्होंने बना दिए क्या रीजनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर. पर हंसराज जी, ये 31 मार्च तक इसका नाम रीजनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर है. 31 मार्च के बाद इसका नाम रीजनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर हो जाएगा. सेम चीज है, फंक्शन सेम है, लेकिन नाम बदल देंगे. अभी तो नाम डिफरेंट रखा है, अभी तो नेशनल ई असेसमेंट रखा है, हम बोलेंगे NAEC. आगे से हो जाएगा नेशनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर NFAC. और रीजनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर विल बी नोन एज रीजनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 21. उसके बाद दे हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड असेसमेंट यूनिट्स, दे हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट, दे हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड what you call technical units, and they have constituted review unit. अब जरा ध्यान से सुनना हंसराज जी क्या किया है. The government has constituted as many assessment unit as it deemed necessary. करीबन 100 फेसलेस असेसमेंट यूनिट बना दिए गए हैं पूरे इंडिया में, मोर देन 100 बन गए. पीछे 94 थे और भी बन गए. क्या नाम रखा है सर? असेसमेंट यूनिट. द फंक्शन ऑफ द असेसमेंट यूनिट इज टू परफॉर्म द फंक्शन ऑफ असेसमेंट, ई असेसमेंट, एंड इट इंक्लूड्स क्या? Identification of certain information or material which are relevant for the determining the tax liability or refund, and then seeking information about these information or these material issues which they have flagged out. जो भी इशू वो फ्लैग आउट करेंगे उसकी वो सीक इंफॉर्मेशन करेंगे फ्रॉम दी SSC और एनी अदर पर्सन. और जब वो इंफॉर्मेशन आ जाएगी तो उसको एनालिसिस करेंगे और एनालिसिस करके असेसमेंट करेंगे. ये काम तो असेसमेंट यूनिट का है, लेकिन कुछ नहीं है. आगे तो सुनिए. असेसमेंट यूनिट को कोई चीज वेरिफिकेशन करानी है, कोई इंक्वायरी करानी है, कोई एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ बुक्स एंड अकाउंट्स कराने हैं, कोई क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन कराना है, कोई विटनेस की स्टेटमेंट लेनी है. ये काम कौन करेगा? असेसमेंट यूनिट नहीं करेगा. ना ना ना, उनका काम नहीं है. वो तो NEC को लिख देंगे, वी वांट इंक्वायरी अबाउट दिस मैटर, वी वांट द क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन, वी वांट दैट इट शुड बी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट शुड बी एग्जामिन्ड, वी वांट विटनेस टू बी स्टेटमेंट टू बी टेकन फ्रॉम विटनेस. ये सारे काम कौन करेगा? असेसमेंट यूनिट नहीं करेगा. ये फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन हो रहा है. मेरी बात सुन रहे हैं हंसराज जी? फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन, ये काम इसको दे दिया वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट को. कभी 30 कुछ ऑड नंबर वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट के बना दिए डिफरेंट जगह. उसके बाद अब आपको कोई लीगल एडवाइस चाहिए असेसमेंट यूनिट को, कोई फॉरेंसिक एडवाइस चाहिए, कोई अकाउंटिंग की एडवाइस चाहिए, कोई डेटा एनालिटिक की आवाज चाहिए, कोई वैल्यूएशन करवाना है, कोई ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग करवानी है, कोई भी कुछ मैनेजमेंट की बातें करनी है. सारी की सारी इंफॉर्मेशन कौन करेगा? टेक्निकल यूनिट का. असेसमेंट यूनिट नहीं करेगा. असेसमेंट यूनिट तो हाथ जोड़ के लिख देगा NEC को, सर ये करवा दो, मुझे ये लीगल एडवाइस चाहिए, मुझे ये टेक्निकल एडवाइस चाहिए, मुझे ये फोरेंसिक की काम करवाना है, मुझे स्पेशल ऑडिट करवाना है, मुझे वैल्यूएशन करवाना है, मुझे ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग करानी है. तू कौन है भाई? तेरे को कुछ नहीं करना, हमें लिख के दे, हम करवाएंगे. बात समझ रहे हैं? फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन. अरे भाई साहब, एक काम एक आदमी ने नहीं करना है, वो लिख के देंगे नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को, और नेशनल ई असेसमेंट उसको फॉरवर्ड कर देगी टेक्निकल यूनिट को. हो गया सर? अब असेसमेंट यूनिट के पास 3 जगह से इंफॉर्मेशन आ गई. एक तो SSC से आई, दूसरा वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट से आई, और तीसरा कहां से आई? टेक्निकल यूनिट से. फिर वो ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर पास करेंगे. एक एक करके बताऊंगा. और वो ऑर्डर आएगा, उसके बाद रिव्यू यूनिट को भी जा सकता है. असेसिंग ऑफिसर का ऑर्डर जो यूनिट ने किया, एक रिव्यू यूनिट बना दिए गए, जिनको कहेगा इसको रिव्यू करो। जहां पर भी उनको डाउट होगा, जहां भी देखेंगे ऑर्डर ये जो असेसमेंट ऑर्डर है वो ठीक नहीं है या उसमें मॉडिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड है, तो वो रिव्यू यूनिट को भेजेंगे। रिव्यू यूनिट अपनी रिपोर्ट देगा। और सुनिए हंसराज जी, जब रिव्यू यूनिट रिपोर्ट देगा ना, तो दोबारा असेसमेंट यूनिट के पास नहीं जाएगा, किसी और असेसमेंट यूनिट के पास जाएगा। अब तुम देखो सर, कुछ नहीं। मुझे कोई कहने लगे सर कोई तो तरीका होगा उनको कांटेक्ट करने का। मैं क्या, कोई तरीका नहीं है सर, कोई तो होगा, आप तो बता दो। मैंने कहा हमने पढ़ा था HNS, हम नहीं सुधरेंगे। अरे सुधर जाओ, अब कोई तरीका नहीं है। तो सोचो कि वो कहते हैं जी वो कांटेक्ट तो कर लेगा ना असेसमेंट यूनिट, क्योंकि हम हियरिंग मांगेंगे तो वो भी आपकी शक्ल देख सकेगा, आप उसकी शक्ल नहीं देख सकेंगे। और वो भी आपको कांटेक्ट करके क्या करेगा, क्योंकि टेक्निकल यूनिट वो नहीं है, अरे वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट वो नहीं है, अरे वो रिव्यू यूनिट वो नहीं है, वो तो एक सिंपल असेसमेंट यूनिट है। सारी फीडिंग तो और जगह से रिपोर्ट आ रही है। तो क्या करोगे, ना वो कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं ना आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हो। तो अब तो दिमाग की बातें करो। जो अच्छा केस प्रेजेंट करेगा, जो पढ़ेगा, जो लिखेगा, वो होगा ऊपर। जिसने सोच लिया मैं हूं, मैं नहीं हूं, अब तू नहीं है, ये दिल को मना लो, पढ़ाई शुरू कर दो। ये मत सोचो कि सीए करी थी अब मैं बहुत ज्यादा कर ली, छोड़ो जी नहीं, अब तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा, सेक्शन भी देखना पड़ेगा। उसके नीचे सर भुवनेश जी आपको पता है सब सेक्शन होता है, उसके नीचे क्लॉज होती है तो भी कंप्लीट नहीं होता, उस क्लॉज के नीचे सब क्लॉज होती है तभी इनकम टैक्स एक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं होता। सब क्लॉज के नीचे क्या होता है कईयों को पता नहीं है, एक सेक्शन के उसके नीचे आइटम होती है तो भी कंप्लीट नहीं होता, आइटम के नीचे सब आइटम होती है तो भी कंप्लीट नहीं होता। उसके बाद होता है प्रोवाइडेड दैट, उसे फर्स्ट प्रोवाइजो कहते हैं। फिर उसके होता है प्रोवाइडेड फर्दर दैट, वो सेकंड प्रोवाइजो कहते हैं। फिर कहते हैं प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो दैट, वो थर्ड प्रोवाइजो है। और फिर ऐड करते रहते हैं जितने मर्जी, प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो दैट, प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो दैट, प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो दैट, प्रोवाइड। उन 20 प्रोवाइजो हैं सेक्शन 1023C। जैसे आप करते हैं आई थैंक, फिर कहते हैं आई ऑल्सो थैंक, फिर उसके बाद ऑल्सो लगाते जाओ, आई ऑल्सो 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 थैंक, और वो 20 प्रोवाइजो हैं। उसके बाद भी कंप्लीट नहीं है सर, उसके नीचे एक्सप्लेनेशन है, और एक्सप्लेनेशन 1, explanation 2, explanation 3, you are looking for a full stop, comma is after 6 line. This is our income tax act. Understand sir? This is our income tax act. अब इसके ऊपर आपके 82 नंबर आए थे, मानता हूं, लेकिन तब आए थे जब उसके इतना था, अब इतना हो चुका है। और करने वाले कौन है, आप ही लोग हैं ना, जो लूप होल ढूंढते हैं उसके ऊपर फिर वो प्लग करते हैं, फिर आप लूप होल ढूंढते हैं, फिर वो प्रोवाइजो लगा देते हैं, फिर प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो लगा देते हैं, फिर प्रोवाइडेड ऑल्सो लगा देते हैं। तो सर ये ध्यान रखना, अब पढ़ना पड़ेगा। किसी ने मेरे से कहा सर कैसे पढ़ूं, मैंने कहा एक सेक्शन रोज पढ़ लिया कर, तो समझ में आएगा, तो समझ में नहीं आएगा। कहते सर आप कहते हैं तो पढ़ लेता हूं। 4 घंटे के बाद फोन आ गया हंसराज जी, कहने लगा सर, मैंने क्या हुआ सर, एक सेक्शन पढ़ा 4 घंटे लग गए। मैंने कहा एक तो पढ़ लिया। कहता सर मेरी बात तो सुन लो, लास्ट में लिखा था इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल फ्रॉम असेसमेंट ईयर 2010-11। कहता मैं क्या करूं, हमें तो ये भी नहीं पता वो सेक्शन अभी एप्लीकेबल है कि खत्म हो चुका है। इनकम टैक्स में तो सबको लिखा है। तो पॉइंट समझिए। मैंने कहा मेरे से पूछा था कैसे पढ़ना है, अगली बार इनकम टैक्स एक्ट पढ़ना तो पहले लास्ट लाइन देख लेना कि वो एप्लीकेबल है कि नहीं एप्लीकेबल है। अगर वो एप्लीकेबल नहीं है तो पढ़ना मत। तो ये मैं बता रहा हूं, अब नॉलेज काम करेगी सर, नॉलेज। अब क्या होगा जरा सुन लीजिए। आपने रिटर्न भरी हंसराज जी, यू फाइल द रिटर्न, प्रोसेस होगी 143(1) में इंटीमेशन आएगी, वो तो आती है, वो तो आएगी। सीपीसी देगा, वो वैसे ही फेसलेस है, CPC is already faceless. You know that. The return has been processed. ये तो बोलते जाओ। The return has been processed. Now कास्ट वो सिलेक्ट होगी 143(2) के लिए, as it is selected now. What will happen? Whatever is selected as per the scrutiny guidelines, that will go to whom? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर के पास चली जाए। नेशनल ई असेसमेंट विल इशू ए नोटिस टू द एसएससी stating that your case has been selected on the basis of such and such issues. ये लेटर आएगा कहां से? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर से। कौन सा लेटर? कोई फिजिकल नहीं है, कोई फिजिकल नहीं है, ऑल कम्युनिकेशन ऑनलाइन। यहां तो आएगा हंसराज जी आपके ईमेल, जो रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल पर है वहां कम्युनिकेशन दे दी जाएगी। और जो आप पोर्टल में रजिस्टर्ड हैं, आपके रिटर्न जब जाती है तो यू आर रजिस्टर्ड विद द इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट, उस पोर्टल पे पोस्ट कर दिया जाएगा, या मोबाइल ऐप के थ्रू आपको एसएमएस आएगा और साथ में रियल टाइम अलर्ट भी आएगा। तो डिपार्टमेंट कोई आपसे पर्सनल बात नहीं करेगा, कोई रिटर्न बात नहीं करेगा, सब कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली डिजिटली होना है। आपको देखना पड़ेगा अपना ईमेल, आपको देखना पड़ेगा अपना जो पोर्टल का आपका वो है रजिस्टर्ड साइट, और आपको देखना पड़ेगा अपना एसएमएस, और देखकर आपको 15 दिन के अंदर अंदर ऑफ द रिसीट ऑफ दैट नोटिस यू हैव टू रिप्लाई टू सेंड ए रिस्पॉन्स टू द नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली। सब कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली है, कम्युनिकेशन सब कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली। 15 दिन, और इसमें एक्सटेंशन भी नहीं है। 15 दिन में जवाब दीजिए। आपने जवाब दिया तो फिर क्या करेंगे? वो देखेंगे यू हैव फाइल्ड ए रिटर्न, एंड इफ यू हैव नॉट फाइल्ड ए रिटर्न इन नॉर्मली in response to a notice given to you under 142(1) you have filed a return, or you have filed a return under 148(1), आपको आया 148 का नोटिस के बाद 147 के नोटिस के लिए आपने रिटर्न फाइल कर दी, तो उस केस में आपको नोटिस दिया जाएगा दैट योर केस हैज बीन सेलेक्टेड फॉर स्क्रूटनी। ये उसको बता दिया जाएगा। अब हंसराज जी क्या करेंगे? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर ऑटोमेटिक एलोकेशन सिस्टम से वो केस को अलॉट कर देगी। ऑटोमेटेड एलोकेशन सिस्टम, एक सॉफ्टवेयर बना दिया ऑटोमेटेड एलोकेशन सिस्टम से। वो आपने रिटर्न भरी दिल्ली में, वहां पर फीड कर दिया जाएगा जिसकी रिटर्न दिल्ली के दिल्ली में नहीं जाए। हो सकता है आपका केस बॉम्बे चला जाए, हो सकता है आपका केस कहीं जयपुर चला जाए या चेन्नई में चला जाए। वहां पर असेसमेंट यूनिट को अलॉट कर दिया जाएगा दैट दिस केस हैज बीन अलॉटेड टू यू। वो उसको अलॉट हो गया, वो भी इंफॉर्म करेंगे केस हमारे पास आ गया, वी आर एक्सेप्टिंग दिस केस, और आपको अलॉट कर दिया गया उसको। अब असेसमेंट यूनिट के ऊपर केस आया, असेसमेंट यूनिट उस केस को स्टडी करेगी। मैंने आपको बताया उसको स्टडी करेगी, and if they want some information, if they want some document, if they want some evidence, they will write to whom? Not to the SSC. Hansraji, not to the SSC, to the National E-Assessment Center. Kindly get us this information, kindly get us this document, kindly get us this evidence from the SSC or any other person. जरूरी थोड़ी है कि एसएससी से भी लेना है, बैंक से भी कोई इंफॉर्मेशन मांग सकते हैं, कई औरों से भी इंफॉर्मेशन मांग सकते हैं कि हमें ये इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए। वो नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली इंफॉर्म करेंगे। एग्रीड? एंड नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर वो फॉरवर्ड करेगा एसएससी और सम अदर पर्सन टू फर्निश दैट इंफॉर्मेशन, टू फर्निश दैट डॉक्यूमेंट, टू फर्निश दैट एविडेंस। क्लियर सर? हो रहा है? इतने टाइम पर अब असेसमेंट यूनिट को कोई वेरिफिकेशन कराना है, कोई क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन कराना है, कोई इंक्वायरी करानी है, कोई एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ बुक्स कराने हैं, कोई क्रॉस विटनेस को वो स्टेटमेंट लेनी है, वो किसको लिखेगा? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर कि मुझे ये काम करवाने, आप दे दीजिए। नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर ऑटोमेटेड एलोकेशन सिस्टम से किसी वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट को भेज देगी। आपका केस चेन्नई में है, वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट हो सकता है कलकत्ते वाला हो, उसको भेज देगी कि इसको वेरीफाई करिए। कोई पता नहीं है असेसमेंट यूनिट को कौन सा वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट है, उनको कुछ नहीं पता है। वो किसी भी वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट पर चली जाएगी, चाहे वो कलकत्ता में बैठा है, वो वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट वेरीफाई करेगा जो भी मांगा गया, इंक्वायरी करी गई, जो भी उससे कहा गया कि आप बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स वेरिफिकेशन करो, जो भी कहा गया कि आप इसके विटनेस की एग्जामिनेशन करो, वो सब काम करके रिपोर्ट बनाकर नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को देगा और नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर वो रिपोर्ट फॉरवर्ड कर देगा असेसमेंट यूनिट को। क्लियर हो रहा है? उधर से वो जवाब दिया असेसी ने कि ये रे डॉक्यूमेंट, ये रे मेरे पेपर, ये रे मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन, वो भी वो फॉरवर्ड कर देगा किसको? असेसमेंट यूनिट को। कौन? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर। एवरीथिंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली फॉरवर्डेड। करेक्ट? नाउ दे वांट सम लीगल एडवाइस, असेसमेंट यूनिट। Assessment unit wants some valuation audit. Assessment unit wants some special audit. Assessment unit wants some technical information. Assessment unit wants some forensic. Assessment unit wants to know something about accounting standard. Assessment unit wants some transfer pricing. All this will be the information will be given to NEC that we want such and such information, or we want such and such advice. We want such and such inquiry. We want such and such audit. National E-Assessment Center ऑटोमेटेड एलोकेशन सिस्टम से टेक्निकल यूनिट को भेज देगा। अभी तक 4 ही टेक्निकल यूनिट बनाए हैं, किसी को भी भेज देगा। टेक्निकल यूनिट अपनी रिपोर्ट बनाएगा और रिपोर्ट बनाकर नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को भेजेगा। एंड नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर वो रिपोर्ट फॉरवर्ड कर देगी असेसमेंट यूनिट को। अब असेसमेंट यूनिट के पास क्या क्या चीजें आई सर हंसराज जी? एक तो वो जो रिटर्न थी उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन थी, फिर उन्होंने इंफॉर्मेशन डॉक्यूमेंट एविडेंस मांगे थे एसएससी से, वो भी उसके पास आ गए। फिर उन्होंने जो इंक्वायरी करवाई थी या उन्होंने कोई क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन कराया था या कोई बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट कराया था, एग्जामिन जो भी कराया था उसकी रिपोर्ट भी उन पर वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट से आ गई। फिर जो टेक्निकल यूनिट से एडवाइस मांगी थी वो भी रिपोर्ट आ गई। अब ये क्या करेंगे? अब ये ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर बनाएंगे और ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर बनाकर साथ में अगर कोई पेनल्टी इनिशिएट करनी है तो वो भी उसमें डालकर नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर भेज देंगे। क्लियर है सर? ये ड्राफ्ट है, फाइनल नहीं है। इस ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर को नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर ऑटोमेटेड टूल्स होंगे, टेक्निकल टूल्स वो लगाएगा। सारा मशीनों ने काम करना है, सारा मशीनों, और ऑटोमेटेड से देखेगा कि ये ऑर्डर में कोई चेंज अगर नहीं है तो फिर तो वो कुछ नहीं कहेगा, देखेगा चेंज नहीं और चेंज रिक्वायर्ड भी नहीं है तो वो फाइनल ऑर्डर बनाकर असेसिंग ऑफिसर उसको भेज देगा एसएससी को। लेकिन कोई मॉडिफिकेशन सजेस्ट की है असेसमेंट यूनिट ने, क्योंकि जो रिटर्न भरी उसमें मॉडिफिकेशन सजेस्ट की, तो शो कॉज इश्यू नोटिस करेगा किसको? एसएससी को। शो कॉज व्हाई दिस मॉडिफिकेशन शुड नॉट बी डन इन योर केस, दीज आर द इश्यूज इन्वॉल्व। ठीक हो गया सर? वो जवाब देंगे, किसको देंगे? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट। चाइना वाल है, डायरेक्टली कहीं नहीं जाना, नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को वो जो शो कॉज का जवाब आया विद इन द टाइम स्पेसिफाइड इन दैट, वो उसको फॉरवर्ड कर दिया जाएगा असेसमेंट यूनिट। क्लियर हो गया सर? कर दिया शो कॉज। अगर इनको नजर आ रहा है कि यार जो ये ऑर्डर बनाया इसको तो रिक्वायर्ड है फर्दर कोई इसका रिव्यू कराना, तो वो रिव्यू यूनिट को भेज दें कि सर इसको रिव्यू कीजिए इस ऑर्डर को। मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? वो रिव्यू यूनिट के पास चला जाए। अब रिव्यू यूनिट को रिव्यू करेगा और रिपोर्ट बनाएगा। अगर तो देखता है कि कोई मॉडिफिकेशन नहीं है तो रिव्यू यूनिट अपनी रिपोर्ट में लिख देगा नो मॉडिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड, द ऑर्डर इज इन। वो सब कुछ देखेंगे कि भाई इसने सारे लीगल केसेस कोट किए हुए हैं, इसने सारे जो फैक्ट्स हैं वो इनकॉर्पोरेट ऑर्डर में किए हुए हैं, सारी चीजें, मतलब ऑर्डर परफेक्ट है, स्पीकिंग ऑर्डर होना है कि नहीं है। उसके बाद अगर कोई मॉडिफिकेशन सजेस्ट करेंगे तो फिर असेसमेंट यूनिट के पास नहीं जाएगा हंसराज जी, किसी और असेसमेंट यूनिट को भेज देंगे। तू देख भैया, एक आदमी का कंट्रोल दूसरा चार्ज देख रहा है, तू देख ले भाई। वो रिव्यू करेंगे, रिव्यू वाला आ गया और दूसरे असेसमेंट यूनिट ने फिर ऑर्डर पास किया, उसके बाद फाइनल ऑर्डर पास होगा और उसके साथ पेनल्टी प्रोसीडिंग भी इनिशिएट साथ में ही होगी। मेरी बात को समझ रहे हैं हंसराज जी? कोई भी चीज में पर्सनल टच नहीं है, एवरीथिंग इज कंप्यूटर जनरेटेड। बिल्कुल रोबो जैसे काम करेगा ना नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर, उसके ऑटोमेटेड टूल्स लगाकर, टेक्निकल टूल्स लगाकर ये असेसमेंट होनी है। और आप कहेंगे सर आप असेसमेंट कर रहे हो, मुझे तो पर्सनल हियरिंग चाहिए क्योंकि इसमें मुझे एक्सप्लेन करना है। पहले कहेंगे पहले तो आप जवाब दे दो रिटर्न का, इकलाटन का। अब आपको पर्सनल हियरिंग चाहिए तो वो फॉरवर्ड कर देंगे आपकी रिक्वेस्ट प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर रीजनल वाले को। वो देखेगा कि जेन्युइन है, कई होता है सारे ही मांग लेंगे कि चलो यार मांग लो हियरिंग ताकि इसी बहाने शायद कोई कनेक्शन मिल जाए। वो देखेंगे जेन्युइन कारण है कि भाई ये हियरिंग देनी चाहिए तो पर्सनल हियरिंग देंगे। लेकिन सुनिए हंसराज जी, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग होगी हियरिंग की, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग होगी। हंसराज जी क्वेश्चन पूछेगा एओ, आप एओ की शक्ल नहीं देख सकेंगे, उसकी शक्ल ब्लर्ड कर दी जाएगी, लेकिन वो आपकी शक्ल देखेगा क्योंकि वो देखेगा आपका फेस रिएक्शन क्या है। आप अपॉइंटमेंट मांगेंगे, आप मांगेंगे वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस से अपनी चीज, लेकिन आप लिख के देंगे कौन आएगा साथ में, कि तफसील भी आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, और वो आपसे सवाल पूछे जाएंगे और आप उससे सवाल पूछेंगे। पूरी वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग है, वहां पर कोई गलत काम ना कर लेना, कोई कोड वर्ड यूज मत कर लेना। एवरीथिंग विल बी वीडियो रिकॉर्डेड, सब कुछ वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग होगी और उसकी कॉपी आपको मिल सकती है जब आप मांगेंगे तो आपकी पर्सनल हियरिंग भी हो गई और वो देंगे, उसके बाद असेसमेंट करेंगे। और जो असेसमेंट होगी शुरू में तो लगता है ड्रीम है, लेकिन ये ड्रीम ट्रू हो जाएंगे। ड्रीम ही तो ट्रू होते हैं, और वो ट्रू ना हुआ तो ड्रीम किस बात का हुआ, ड्रीम होगा। और ये ड्रीम थोड़े दिन रुक जाइए, आपको शुरू में नजर आएगा, आप बड़े इफ एंड बट निकालेंगे, लोग यहां में से सवाल पूछेंगे, लेकिन उनको पूछिए सुधर जाओ, मान जाओ, नहीं तो मोदी जी मना के छोड़ेंगे। अब आपके पास कोई तरीका नहीं है, बहाने ढूंढने का कोई चांस नहीं है। यू हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट द लॉ, एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू नाउ it is very difficult to contact any person. It is very difficult to look into anything in this fashion, but be pure that you have to prepare your case thoroughly. You have to communicate everything written. अंग्रेजी भी सुधारनी पड़ेगी सर, अब अंग्रेजी में जवाब देना है, लेकिन कई जगह वर्नाकुलर भी अलाउ कर देंगे, अलाउ करेंगे gradually. Even vernacular language will also be allowed in certain cases. But what I'm trying to explain, you should be specific. You should be to the point. And the case should be so crisp that there is no addition in that. लेकिन फिर भी शुरू में डिफिकल्टी होंगी, क्योंकि वो वाले भी चाहे इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है और इधर वाले भी इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है। लेकिन क्या फायदा है, दिल को मना लो, नहीं मानोगे तो मनाना तो पड़ेगा सर। ये है सर फेसलेस का। और मोदी जी ने कहा था कि 25 सितंबर को मैं फेसलेस अपील भी ले आऊंगा, और सर फेसलेस अपील भी ले आए कमिश्नर अपील। पहले तो एक्ट में डाला 256B, 6C एंड 6D सेक्शन डाले, एंड दे हैव ब्रॉट फेसलेस अपील ऑल्सो। इतनी ज्यादा गरज है, कमिश्नर अपील कह रहे हैं ये क्या है, हम लोगों के ऊपर भी आपने फेसलेस अपील कर दी, ये कौन सा तरीका है। इसमें तो पर्सनल हियरिंग भी होती है, इसमें तो एडिशनल एविडेंस भी होते हैं, एडिशनल ग्राउंड भी होते हैं। वो कहता है नथिंग डूइंग। एक तो नेशनल फेसलेस अपील सेंटर बना दिया, हंसराज जी क्या नाम रखा, नेशनल फेसलेस अपील सेंटर, और बना दिए एपेलेट यूनिट्स, number of appellate unit under the charge of commissioner appeal. अब आपने अपील फाइल करनी है, आप करते हो ना फॉर्म 35 पे, इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली करिए, लेकिन ये अपील नेशनल फेसलेस अपील सेंटर के पास जाएगी। अब कहां जाएगी, नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर। वो ऑटोमेटेड एलोकेशन सिस्टम से ये अपील किसी भी अपैलेट यूनिट को मार्क कर सकते हैं, सिटिंग एनीवेयर इन इंडिया, वहां मार्क हो गई। आपने अपील दिल्ली में फाइल करी है, नेशनल फेसलेस सेंटर में करी, वो अपील हो सकता है चेन्नई में गई हो, वहां पर बैठा हो कमिश्नर अपील, हो सकता है बैंगलोर में बैठा हो सकता है कलकत्ता में बैठा हो, कहीं भी हो सकता है, गुवाहाटी में हो, वो अपील यूनिट आएगा। अब अपील यूनिट के पास आ गई। कई बार आप अपील लेट फाइल करते हो ना सर, कंडोनेशन डिले के साथ करते हो ना। हमारी तो आते हैं ना काम करने की लास्ट दिन में, और कंडोनेशन डिले, तो वो क्या करेगी, नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर उस कंडोनेशन ऑफ डिले के साथ जो अपील आई वो अपेलेंट यूनिट को भेज देगी, स्पेसिफाइड अपीलेट यूनिट को भेज देगी। बिक गई। अब वो कमिश्नर अपील डिसाइड करेगा कि ये जो कंडोनेशन ऑफ डिले, ठीक है, इट इज जेन्युइन, शुड वी अलाउ दैट। कौन अप्रूवल करेगा कंडोनेशन की? करेगा कमिश्नर अपील। कौन से वाला? जिसको वो अपील अलॉट हुई है, वो वहां पर कंडोनेशन ऑफ डिले देखेगा। इफ द रीजंस आर जेन्युइन एंड द कंडोनेशन डिले इज आस्क्ड फॉर, ही में ग्रांट, या तो रिजेक्ट करेगा या ग्रांट करेगा और अपील को एडमिट करेगा। वो डायरेक्टली रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करेगा। किसको लिखेगा? नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर, कि सर मैंने इसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया है ऑन दीज ग्राउंड, या मैंने इसको एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है ऑन दीज ग्राउंड्स। करेक्ट। वो फिर आगे इन्फॉर्म कर दिया जाएगा। किसको? बाय दी नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर टू दी एसएससी, कि आपकी अपील रिजेक्ट हो गई है या आपकी अपील एक्सेप्ट हो गई है फॉर कंडोनेशन, और के हमने एडमिट कर ली है। कंडोनेशन हुआ तो एडमिट होगी ना, वैसे तो होती ही एडमिट है, लेकिन कंडोनेशन के केस में तो कंडोनेशन करनी पड़ेगी ना हंसराज जी, और कंडोनेशन होने के बाद अपील एडमिट का आ जाएगा या रिजेक्शन का आ जाएगा। हो गया, एडमिट हो गई या रिजेक्ट हो गई, आपने अपील एडमिट कर दी। अब आप क्या चाहते हैं? अपीलेट यूनिट का काम क्या है? आपने कोई एडिशनल ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील देने हैं। वो जितने भी एडिशनल ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील है आप कम्युनिकेट कर दीजिए नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर। वो इसको फॉरवर्ड कर देंगे। किसको? अपीलेट यूनिट को। वो देखेगा कि एडिशनल ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील मुझे एडमिट करने हैं कि नहीं करने, वो एडमिट करने हैं कि नहीं करने। अगर वो जेन्युइन होंगे तो एडिशनल ग्राउंड को एडमिट कर लेगा, नहीं तो रिजेक्ट कर देगा। ऑर्डर पास करेगा रिजेक्शन का या एडमिट करने का, और वो फॉरवर्ड कर दिया जाएगा। किसको? एसएससी को। योर एडिशनल ग्राउंड एडमिटेड और योर एडिशनल ग्राउंड नॉट एडमिटेड। करेक्ट। अब आप एडिशनल एविडेंस भी देते हैं, मानते हो ना हंसराज जी? एडिशनल एविडेंसेस भी देते हैं। वो भी एविडेंसेस आप सबमिट कर दीजिए नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर को, और वो एविडेंस फॉरवर्ड हो जाएंगे नेशनल अपील उसको अपीलेट यूनिट को, और कमिश्नर अपील डिसाइड करेगा कि ये एविडेंस एडमिट करने हैं। रूल 36A है ना, आपका मालूम है ना, कि इसको एडमिट करने हैं कि नहीं करने। फिर वही लगाएगा ऑर्डर कि एडमिट हो गए एडिशनल एविडेंस और या नहीं हुए, रिजेक्ट तो भी, एडमिट तो भी। वो बात फिर वो अपील वाला कमिश्नर अपील कोई इंक्वायरी करवाना चाहता है, कौन करेगा इंक्वायरी? नेशनल फेसलेस को कहेगा अपीलेट सेंटर को मुझे इंक्वायरी करवानी। कौन करेगा? नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को वो बोलेगा इसकी इंक्वायरी करवाओ। कौन बोलेगा? नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर बोलेगा। आप डायरेक्टली नहीं बोलेंगे। नेशनल फेसलेस अपीलेट सेंटर देगा नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को या असेसिंग ऑफिसर टू डू इंक्वायरी। वो इंक्वायरी करनी है, उनके पास से रिपोर्ट लेनी है। अरे उन्होंने ऑर्डर पास किया है तो रिपोर्ट भी तो चाहिए उनकी, उनसे रिपोर्ट भी ली जाएगी। जो उसका आया अपील, उनसे कोई उन्होंने अपने कोई काउंटर वो देना है तो वो भी वो देंगे। आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? आपने उनको भेजी कि भाई ये इन्होंने अपील फाइल करी है, ये ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील है, ये है, तो वो रिस्पॉन्ड भी तो करेगा। कौन? द रिस्पॉन्ड विल बी थ्रू द नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर टू नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर। नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर विल फॉरवर्ड दैट टू यू। देखिए घूमता कहां है। आप देंगे नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर को, नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर लिखेगा नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को या एओ को, उनको कहेगा अपनी रिपोर्ट दो, अपने कमेंट दो, अपनी जो फर्दर इंक्वायरी करो, वो इसको भेजेगा नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को, नेशनल ई असेसमेंट नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर को भेजेगा, और नेशनल अपीलेट सेंटर उसको फॉरवर्ड कर देगा नेशनल अपीलेट यूनिट को। आप देख रहे हैं सर कितना सिस्टम फुल प्रूफ बनाया है। अपीलेट यूनिट को भी नहीं पता कौन सी जगह गया है। फिर वो अपीलेट यूनिट ऑर्डर ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर करेगा। अब देखेंगे इस ऑर्डर में कोई रिव्यू कराना है तो रिव्यू भी करा सकते हैं। ये बड़ा खतरनाक काम है सर। अरे एक अपीलेट यूनिट का आप दूसरे अपीलेट यूनिट से सेम पावर सेम डेजिग्नेशन वाले से करवाएंगे? वो कहता हम कराएंगे। ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी के लिए आप गया, और दूसरा लिखा है कि जो आपको हियरिंग दी जाएगी वो पहले वो डिसाइड करेगा कि इनको हियरिंग दी जाए कि ना दी जाए। कौन? प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर। कोर्ट में केस है, उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, ये कैसे कह सकते हैं? हियरिंग का तो हमारा राइट है और इसमें तो हियरिंग होनी चाहिए। हाउ कैन यू से दैट ही विल डिसाइड? हु इज ही टू डिसाइड? वी हैव आस्क्ड फॉर हियरिंग, वी शुड बी गिवन हियरिंग। डिसाइड करेगा प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर कि हियरिंग दी जाए कि ना दी जाए। इसी इशू पे तो झगड़ा हो रहा है। सर हियरिंग तो देनी चाहिए और हियरिंग तो कई बार होती है, लेकिन वो कहते हैं फ्रिवलस हियरिंग मांगेंगे कई जानकर कि देखें कौन कमिश्नर अपील है, इसलिए वो ये करना चाहते हैं। लेकिन अभी कोर्ट का डिसीजन नहीं आया है हंसराज जी, कोर्ट का डिसीजन नहीं आया है। अब जो भी कोर्ट का डिसीजन होगा उसके ऊपर क्या हो जाएगा, ज्यादा दे देंगे हियरिंग, कोई खासी तो लगने नहीं है। होना तो सारा ही, और उसकी भी रिकॉर्डिंग होनी है। ऑल हियरिंग टू बी रिकॉर्डेड एज इट इज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस। सो क्या होगा? आप क्या सोच रहे हैं सर? सर अपने आप को बदलना ही पड़ना है। डिपार्टमेंट भी बदलेगा और हमें भी बदलना पड़ेगा। आप मोदी जी को नहीं बदल सकते, आप कोई अपने आप को बदल लीजिए। मोदी जी को बदलने की कोशिश मत करना। मुझसे पूछिए, वैसे तो अच्छे की बात है, जमाना बदल गया, इतनी इंटेलिजेंस आ गई। सर हंसराज जी, हम लोगों ने बहुत हार्ड वर्क करके सीए करी है, ये तो मानेंगे। कोई ऐसे सीए पास नहीं कर सकता। हमने सीए गलत काम करने के लिए नहीं करी, हमने सीए अच्छे काम करने के लिए, नॉलेज के लिए गेन किया। आपने आज सुनाया तो नॉलेज ही है ना, तो आप सुना रहे थे, आपका फील्ड था, आपने उसमें एक्सपर्टीज ली, तो पूछ। अब तो नॉलेज वालों का काम है। गुण उसे के गाए जाएंगे जिसको नॉलेज होगी। तो समझ लीजिए, अब अपने आप को बदल दीजिए। बत्रा जी ने कितना बदला अपने आप को, मुझे याद है। मैं बत्रा जी की पुरानी स्टोरी, और कहां से कहां एक्सपर्ट बन गए, पहले सर्विस टैक्स के और वहीं से एक्सपर्ट बन गए जीएसटी के। किसी जमाने में ये एक्सपर्ट थे सेल्स टैक्स और थोड़ा बहुत काम इनकम टैक्स का करते थे। अब नेशनल लेवल के अगर बन गए हैं तो अब तो स्पेशलाइजेशन है। इवन डिपार्टमेंट में फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन, हमको भी स्पेशलाइजेशन करना पड़ेगा। और लेकिन मैं बता दूं, आदतें चेंज करनी पड़ेंगी। बत्रा जी ने आदतें चेंज कर ली है, लेकिन बत्रा जी तो डिस्प्यूट हैंडल करते हैं। इनका डिस्प्यूट हैंडल करने में तो दम का मामला है, नॉलेज का है, आप कितना प्रिपेयर्ड है और हाउ डू यू प्रेजेंट योर केस, वहां तो अभी है। लेकिन मैंने बताया फेसलेस में अभी भी इंटरनेशनल टैक्सेशन फेसलेस नहीं है। और दूसरा जो सेंट्रल चार्ज है इन्वेस्टिगेशन का, वो फेसलेस नहीं होगा। ये बात समझ रहे हैं सर? यही तो गड़बड़ है सर। हंसराज जी, ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता किनका है? बड़े बड़े लोगों का। आप समझ गए ना? अब मेरे पास क्या है, अब बड़े लोगों ने अपने लिए फेसलेस हटा दिया है। ये पार्लियामेंट में लॉ बनता है और पार्लियामेंट वाले अपने ही देखते हैं, क्योंकि वहां फेसलेस नहीं है। अल्टीमेटली होगा, अभी फेसलेस नहीं है। तो अभी तो आप कॉन्टेक्ट कर सकते हैं ना, अभी तो है ना। आप बात समझ रहे हैं? सेंट्रल चार्ज में कोई फेसलेस नहीं है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कोई फेसलेस नहीं। इंटरनेशनल टैक्सेशन में तो मैं मानता हूं वो तो नॉन रेजिडेंट के केस होने हैं और वो लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव यहां करेगा या एजेंट यहां करेगा। बट इन्वेस्टिगेशन के फेसलेस क्यों नहीं? समझ में आ रहा? मैं बोलूं तो कम, जितना कम बोलूं उतना अच्छा है, क्योंकि मेरी आवाज भी सुनती है और डिपार्टमेंट वाले मेरा हर लेक्चर को सुनते हैं और सुनकर देखते हैं कि मैं डिपार्टमेंट के फेवर में बोल रहा हूं कि अगेंस्ट में बोल रहा हूं। आजकल देखिए, मैं हमेशा फेवर में बोलता हूं। जमाने चले गए जब मैं क्रिटिसाइज करा करता था, हल्का सा क्रिटिसाइज करके मैं पतली गली से निकल जाता हूं और फिर प्रेस करने लग जाता हूं। जमाना बदल गया सर, अपने आप को बदलना पड़ेगा। नहीं बदलेंगे तो फिर आपको पता है क्या होगा। तो हाथ जोड़ के विनती सबको कर रहा हूं कि ये मत सोचो क्रिटिसाइज करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। हां, कुछ टीदिंग ट्रबल होंगी, हां शुरू में कुछ आपको ईचिंग आएगी, कुछ होगा, गलतियां सब ठीक हो जाएंगी। ये मत समझिए ओवर द ईयर कितनी इंप्रूवमेंट आई है और ये भी इंप्रूवमेंट होगी। अब तो अपने ऑफिस में बैठ के बात करिए सर। ये अब जैसे वेबिनार कर रहे हैं तो आपको मैं देख रहा हूं, आप मेरे से बात कर रहे हैं, मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं, तो क्या तकलीफ है हियरिंग में भी ऐसे करना? हियरिंग भी तो ऐसे ही होगी ना। ये वेबिनार ने तो हमें अकल दे दी कि वर्चुअल सब काम हो जाएगा, अब भूल जाओ जाने का, घर पे बैठो। घर का मतलब ऑफिस में बैठो, ऑफिस से ही काम करो, ऑफिस से ही सारा वर्चुअल होगा, आपको ऑफिस में ही बैठ के पढ़ना पड़ेगा। अब जो रोज चक्कर लगाया करते थे, मैं मिस करूंगा कैंटीन, कौन सी, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट की, वो जो ब्रेड पकौड़ा खाया करते थे, कभी कभी खाली होते थे, वो कहते लंच टाइम हो गया तो नीचे जाके ब्रेड पकौड़ा खा लिया या एक समोसा खा लिया, वो गया सर हंसराज जी, वो गया। अब वहां जाना ही नहीं आपने, कुछ काम ही नहीं है। हमें तो पता ही नहीं, हम मंदिर जाया करते थे, वो कहता मंदिर भी मत जाओ, घर बैठो। हमारा तो मंदिर था, वो कहता घर बैठ के ही पूजा करो, और पूजा भी वर्चुअल करना, कोई मतलब नहीं है सर। तो इसलिए सबको हाथ जोड़ के विनती है, जो मेरा लेक्चर सुन रहे हैं, क्रिटिसाइज मत कीजिए, अडॉप्ट कीजिए। देयर गोइंग टू बी मैनी चेंजेस, आई एग्री, some difficulties may be there in the beginning, they are there, they hear। ये है, ये गवर्नमेंट सुनती है, हम जो बातें करते हैं उसको वो सुनते हैं, और कई गलतियां होती है तो एडमिट करके ठीक भी कर देते हैं। ये बहुत बार देखा, जब भी देखा बात सुनी, जब भी कहा कि ये प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी है, उन्होंने उसके बाद एक्सटेंशन दी तो एक्सटेंशन भी दी है, सब कुछ किया। तो ये सरकार सुनती है, लेकिन वो वाली बात नहीं सुनेगी जो आप सुनाना चाहते हैं या जो आप कांटेक्ट करना चाहते हैं। तो मैं इतना ही बोलना चाहता हूं, ज्यादा टाइम नहीं दिया आपने मुझे, 1 घंटा दिया था तो मैंने उसमें खत्म कर दिया। और कोई क्वेश्चन जिसके पास है, मोस्ट वेलकम टू आस्क, बिकॉज आई हैव अनदर लेक्चर लाइंड अप दिस, सो देयरफॉर my apology for not continuing, but yes, I have 5-10 minutes to give you answer for any query which you want to raise. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. There are certain questions.
Sure, sir.
Though you have very rightly said that we have to go with the time. Change is must, and we are on the right track with the technology, usage of the technology, and naturally data mining. The way government and the business also doing the same manner, to really data is said to be a gold, or sometime it is said to be a platinum. For the government to generate the revenue, data mining is naturally a gold for them. तो सर एक क्वेश्चन है कि फ्यूचर, कुछ एक हमारे मित्र लोगों का क्वेश्चन आया है, द फ्यूचर ऑफ द फेसलेस, हाउ लॉन्ग इट विल टेक टू एस्टेब्लिश, लाइक once the PAN number starts to be there given to the each and every one, like earlier it used to be a GIR number, so how long it will be settled, how in the
years? Tell you one thing, ये जो क्वेश्चन है ना, ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर कोई नहीं दे सकता। इट इज गोइंग टू टेक लिटिल टाइम। यू रिमेंबर कि 26 ईयर्स में पहले क्या क्या होता था, क्वार्टरली रिटर्न जो जाती थी उसकी TDS की, उसमें क्या क्या डिफिकल्टी आती थी। अब तो पूरी प्लेटर में आप इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं, और आपका 3B भी प्लेटर में है, 3CD, उससे इंफॉर्मेशन वो डेटा माइनिंग कर रहे हैं। अभी जो आया 206C1H, इवन गुड्स की सेल पे भी डेटा माइनिंग हो रहा है, एक एक इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट हो रही है, आपके बारे में सब कुछ पता है। आपको ये सोचना बिल्कुल गलत है कि आपके बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है। कहां से इंफॉर्मेशन पर्कुलेट हो रही है, NCA से आपका लिंक हो गया है, ये फॉरेन वाला भी विजिट का वहां से लिंक हो गया, GST से लिंकेज होने वाला है वेरी सून। ये हर जगह से कनेक्ट कर लेंगे, एक डिपार्टमेंट दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट से शेयर करेगा। इवन फॉरेन कंट्री से भी एक्सचेंज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन के हमने इतने एग्रीमेंट कर लिए हैं कि हमें पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है। कितना डरा दिया मोदी जी ने, स्विस वाले भी आ गए कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए स्विस बैंक वाले देने को तैयार है। वक्त बदल गया है। इवन जो टैक्स हेवन कंट्री हैं उनके साथ भी एग्रीमेंट हो गए हैं फॉर एक्सचेंज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन। So you cannot see in isolation. You will have to see that things are going to improve. गए वो दिन, अरे सर ये हमारे आदमी है ना, 60,000 करोड़ रुपए के बोगस अगर आप इनपुट क्रेडिट लेंगे, अगर GST का, बतला जी बैठे हैं, तो फिर क्या होगा। कंट्री को अगर प्रोग्रेस करना है तो अब तो बदलना पड़ेगा। जो हो गया वो भूल जाइए। अब तो इतना अमाउंट भी नहीं है कि टैक्स रेट बहुत ज्यादा है। ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट ने कंपनी का रेट भी 22% कर दिया है और सबका 15 कर दिया है, और थोड़े दिनों में ये तो बेवकूफी करी जो 37% सरचार्ज लगा दिया इंडिविजुअल को। ये हमने तो बोला नहीं था, ये तो लास्ट मिनट में चेंज हुआ। आई डोंट वांट टू से एनीथिंग, हमने तो ये कहा ही नहीं था कि ऐसा करो, बट बेटर सेंस विल प्रिवेल। द रेट्स हैव कम डाउन। इवन जीएसटी क्या है, पहले तो आपको वैट होता था, आपका वो होता था, क्या कहते हैं, एक्साइज होती थी। वो तो जमाना था जब एक्साइज 125%, 150% या 50%, 80% चोरी करने का फायदा था। जब 15% रह गई, 12.5% रह गई थी, और वो भी इनपुट क्रेडिट मिलता था, तो 2-4-5% में बेईमानी करके क्या मिलेगा सर? वक्त बदल गया है, समझा दीजिए, टैक्स दीजिए, जान छुड़ाइए। ना कोई वेल्थ टैक्स है, ना कोई गिफ्ट टैक्स है, ना कोई स्टेट ड्यूटी है। एक इनकम टैक्स है और दूसरा जीएसटी है, और तो कोई टैक्स रहा नहीं। और जीएसटी की भी लाइबिलिटी बतला जी बताएंगे कितनी पड़ती है ऑन ए पर्सन। तो मैं ये कहूंगा, गॉन आर द डेज, यू विल हैव टू, वी हैव टू टेल अवर क्लाइंट्स, नाउ प्लीज amend your habits, amend yourself, pay tax, enjoy life. This is the theme of everything now. चलिए बोलिए आगे।
So, एक question, one question is like this: SEZ is being created with keeping in mind कि taxation is naturally there will be no tax or tax impact of that, the promotion, investment, FDI, and the generation of the as far as the employment is concerned, it was with some objective and pluffing back the whatever is being generated within the SEZ itself.
So
How
where
do
is
you
the tax
justify
exemption?
justification?
Tax exemption? We don't have any tax exemption to SEZ units. We are charging MAT from them. We are charging MAT from them. They have to pay 15% now. Earlier it was 18.5%. Now it is 15% plus surcharge. They have to pay tax. It's a different story altogether that this benefit as a tax credit you will get over the period of 15 years. But the point is that we are giving you an incentive, no doubt, but the tax is only taken from you, and this is not in this country. Other countries also doing the same. The tax is taken for you because at one time, you remember the old days, जब रिलायंस ने 15 साल 1 पैसा इनकम टैक्स नहीं दिया था, 1 रुपया टैक्स नहीं दिया था। इट वॉज रिलायंस ड्यू टू विच मैट वॉज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड। 15 साल 0 टैक्स कंपनी मानी जाती थी रिलायंस ने। कोई ना कोई बेनिफिट लेकर इनकम टैक्स का वो उसका एग्जेंशन ले लेता था, चाहे वो किसी तरह का भी डेप्रिसिएशन का होता था या किसी भी तरह का इंसेंटिव होता था, इन्वेस्टमेंट अलाउंस होता था या एक्सपेंशन होता था। कभी टैक्स नहीं दिया, 0 टैक्स होता था, और ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डिविडेंड बांटते थे, लेकिन टैक्स नहीं देते थे। सर, ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डिविडेंड बांटने की वजह से तो ही तो मैट आया था कि तुम्हें इतना प्रॉफिट कमाया है तो गवर्नमेंट को भी कुछ शेयर दीजिए ना। अब आपको बोल दिया है कि हम मैट हटा रहे हैं, लेकिन आपको टैक्स तो 22% लगा रहे हैं, 15% लगा रहे हैं। अब तो हमने आपको कह दिया है, क्योंकि ये जितने भी SEZ यूनिट हैं इसमें भी सनसेट क्लॉज लग गई है। यू विल बी गिवन बेनिफिट अंडर दिस चैप्टर आफ्टर अ सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, तो वो भी खत्म होने जा रहा है। कह रहे नो एग्जेम्पशन, नो डिडक्शन, पे टैक्स एंड एंजॉय लाइफ। कुछ नहीं है। जो 115 BAA आया, BAB आया, ये क्या है? नो एग्जेम्पशन, नो डिडक्शन। You are going to have a very simplified law, लेकिन सिंप्लीफाइड होता नहीं है। हम कहते तो ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस है, लेकिन कोई ईज नहीं है। इतना कॉम्प्लिकेट कर दिया जाता है, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं हमारे जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं उनका दिमाग बहुत ज्यादा है, वो उसमें लूप होल ढूंढते हैं, और इस वजह से वो पहले ही कॉम्प्लिकेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो सर, प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जब तक माइंडसेट चेंज नहीं होगा हमारा भी और डिपार्टमेंट का भी, तब तक कुछ नहीं हो सकता। अब ये फेसलेस वगैरह आया है, अब देखना थोड़ा माइंडसेट चेंज होगा, और चेंज होकर जब देखेंगे कि पता है आपको कि अब स्कोप नहीं रहा, तो आप भी सीधे होंगे और वो भी सीधे होंगे, तो दोस्ती जरा दूर हो जाएगी और काम आएगा। Let us hope for the best.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for such a nice deliberation. Naturally, it's a change. Change is the permanent, which really has to be there. It is the need of the hour, and I really appreciate the way you have deliberated upon in the simple methodology. लेकिन
I had limited time, sir, so I had to do according to that.
That was the basically some limitations. Within that limitations आपने हमें जो है और मैं अप्रिशिएट करता हूं कि आपको आईसीआई और डिफरेंट विंग्स ऑफ द आईसीआई जब भी आपको बुलाते हैं यू आर ऑलवेज देयर फॉर द प्रोफेशन एंड योर your contribution for the cause of the profession is encouraged all across. It is well appreciated. I also do appreciate. I on a single call, I invited and you immediately responded with a positivity. I hope you will remain with us till the last session.
Sir, I have a lecture lined up. I'm going for that. I have already a lecture lined up.
Thank you, Girishi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Girishi, for your wonderful.
Thank you very much, sir. Any help I can. But I'm assuring you, don't have anything against the government. The government is patiently listening, but at the same time, they are not going to compromise. They want money. Where from the money will come? The money has to come from the taxes only. They have huge amount of expenditure which they have to incur. And because of I'm not talking about pandemic or this or this. This is only a temporary phase. It should be over. But what I'm trying to explain, if you have to make 5 trillion economy, it cannot be made that way. You have to really work hard. वक्त बदल गया है. मोदी जी ने नहीं बदला, कंप्यूटरों ने बदल दिया. बेड़ा गर्क कर दिया ये जो डिजिटल में एक एक इंफॉर्मेशन सबके बारे में है. तो इसलिए ऑब्जर्वेशन है तो अपने आप को सुधार लीजिए, नहीं तो फिर आपको जब उनके पास आएगी हर चीज के बारे में पता है. कल मुझे दे दे चुक साहब अपना जरा पेन नंबर, एक एक चीज बता दूंगा इनकी क्या है. सारा डिपार्टमेंट में पूरा आपका जन्म कुंडली है. ये जन्म कुंडली पहले तो पंडित देखा करते थे, आजकल इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट देखता है कि तुम्हारे क्या जन्म कुंडली है. ये बता दूं मैं. और जीएसटी के पास भी बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन आ रही है. अब देखते रहना, वक्त बदल रहा है और अपने आप को बदलना पड़ेगा. सर, थैंक यू. ऑल द बेस्ट सर.
Thank you.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Take care. All
Thank
the
you,
best.
Ujjwali. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Friends, now we have a third and the last session of the day. You see, like in the system of our economy, indirect tax has taken its shape at a different point of time. If we talk about the whether it is the Senate or whether we talk about the different system at a different point of time in the in excise duty, in the custom law, in the service tax, in the earlier regime of the sales tax also. Now we have emerged like a global economy. Naturally, one tax that is a GST. So today we have a best of the speaker, the star speaker with us. Before inviting him, just to share with his small, though it's a big name itself, he does not need an introduction, but just for the sake of formalities, because there are certain members, those who are from the Export Promotion Council of EOUs and SEZs, those who may not be aware of much about the Ashok Batra ji, but in the professional fraternity, each and every, whether it is the younger one or the senior one, every know him very closely. Man with a great strength, man with a good human being, always hand-holding with the professional brothers and the sisters, always with the profession. He is a chartered accountant, he is a law graduate. In addition to that, he holds a degree of his graduation from the most prestigious institute of the institution of Delhi University, that is, we all know, Sri Ram College of Commerce. He is a graduate from there, functioning as a practicing chartered accountant for over since 1982. Traditionally earmarked in the area of direct taxation like अभी आहूजा साहब ने भी इनके बारे में बताया. Now he has been a strong footprint and the strong as far as the knowledge base in the indirect tax, earlier with the service tax and VAT. He is brilliantly and skillfully written exemplary books on indirect taxation. He has also written incredibly large number of qualitative articles on contemporary taxation matters, which has been widely circulated journals, news magazines, and newsletters. Outstanding person with us, manifold capabilities. He is a great orator, writer, and the member of Indirect Tax Committee, and he is a well-equipped, knowledgeable person, strong with technical aspects, the great of the strength, serving to the profession, serving to the business community at a corporate level, at the institution level. Now I'll request Ashok Batraji to share the scenario of the indirect taxation regime, focusing on the SEZ and EOUs also. Over to Batra Sahab.
Honorable Shri Alok Chaturvedi ji, PG EPCS, VC Shri Bhuvnesh Seth ji, my younger brother and member Center Council Shri Hansraj Chuk, in absentia Dr. Girish Ahuja ji, ladies, gentlemen, and all professional colleagues. It is indeed a matter of privilege for me to share the dais with such dignitaries and to give my views about the indirect taxes, particularly for SEZ and EOU. This seminar was started at 3 and it is almost 5:20 now. I would like to recapitulate. Initially, Chaturvedi Sahab told about the history and the government initiative about the SEZ, their contribution to the GDP, employment, etc. Bhuvnesh Seth ji has shown his concern for the industry and the issues involved in this, including faceless assessment. Then my younger brother talked about SEZ, its history, various numbers, and contribution in GDP. Then Dr. Girish Ahuja talked about faceless assessment. Though these provisions are under challenge before various high courts on the principle of audit alternate partem, nobody should be condemned unheard. Of course, certain things which seems to be impossibility in the past has become reality now. I don't think anybody who is attending this seminar has ever thought of it, that there will be lockdown on 24th of March and that lockdown will continue for more than 8 months. And not only that, Dr. Girish Ahuja and myself, we used to travel across the country and minimum 4 to 5 visits in a month were bound to be there. And now we have not traveled even for a single day after 24th of March. Webinar has become order of the day rather than the seminars. And we have learned how to deal with the webinars. Friends, now I would like to share my screen because in the webinar I have seen it is always better wherein I can share our views, keeping in view the slide in front of us. When it comes to SEZ, Hansraj Chuk has already explained there is an act in 2005 which was being created to create an internationally competitive environment for export, making available goods and services free of taxes and duties, having integrated infrastructure for export production, single window approval, and to attract FDI. Lot has been said about it, so I'm not going to talk about much about it. If you look at GST and SEZ EOU, then you'll be surprised to know that there are only 2 sections where it has been used authoritatively, and in one section there's a reference to the SEZ, and there is only one section where EOU word has been used. If you look at section 75B of the IGST Act, which deals with interstate supplies, it clearly says that the supplies made to or supplies made by SEZ unit or SEZ developer shall be interest rate. Then section 16, the reference to which has been made by Hansraj Chugji also, deals with zero rated supplies and supply to SEZ unit or developers by DTA, domestic tariff area units, shall be considered as zero rated supply. If we look at SEZ section, then there are three important sections which are linked with the GST. One is section 26, which deals with the exemptions, drawbacks and advantages available to the SEZ. Section 30, which talk about supplies made by SEZ to DTA. And finally, section 51, which is having an overriding effect, which says in case of a conflict, the provisions of SEZ shall prevail. 7.5b, supply of goods or services are both to or by a special economic zone or a developer shall be treated to be a supplier of goods or services or both in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Then section 8, which deal with intrastate supply of services, it also mentions a proviso has been inserted which says that provided that the intrastate supply of services shall not include, it's a double assurance, nothing is to be new which is being said in section 8, and these two sections are section 7 and 8 of IGST Act. Then friends, we go to SEZ Act. SEZ Act, as I told you, there are three important sections which will be dealing in the times to come. Now, section 16.1, which is the most important section, talk about zero rated supply. Earlier on, certain benefits were given to the export of goods or services because all over the universe, the practice is to export the goods and services, not the taxes. Now, in this GST law, they have come out with a concept of zero rated supply, in which supplies of goods and services made to special economic zone developer or units are also included there. Subsection 2 says, subject to the provision of subsection 5 of section 17, this section deals with block credit. They say these are the credit which shall not be available under any circumstances. So they say rather than block credit, all other credits are available for making zero rated supplies, including supplies made to special economic zone developer or special economic zone unit also. Notwithstanding that such supply may be exempt supply. This is really important to say. It clearly says even if you are exporting a supply, you are exporting a goods or a service which is not subject to GST, even then you can avail the ITC of the same. And we all understand, I am addressing the august audience who are from the trade as well as from the profession, that if I am making a export, it can be done either by filing a LUT, where I am filing the LUT, not paying the taxes and claiming the input tax credit of the ITC, and I am charging the IGST, and then I am claiming the refund of that IGST after discharging my liability under GST. So these two options are available. Now we come to the meaning of exports. When it comes to export, it has been defined differently under the Constitution, under SEZ Act, under IGST Act. As today, I am going to deal only with IGST. So my focus will be export of goods under IGST. But yes, I am giving a corresponding definition under SEZ Act also, because we are dealing export in relation to SEZ. And section 51 also says, in case of any conflict, the provision of SEZ shall prevail. Now, export of goods with its all grammatical variation and cognate expression means taking goods out of India to a place outside India. It's a very simple thing, not involving much legal issues or technical aspect of it. when the goods are taken from India to a place outside India, that is being called export. But when it comes to export of services, it has been defined elaborately, and 5 conditions need to be satisfied in order to qualify as export of service. The supplier of service should be in India, recipient should be outside India, place of supply should be outside India, and the most important one, the payment for such services has been received in convertible foreign exchange, and that too within stipulated time, whatever is permitted by the RBI. Friends, it need to be noted that while export of goods is being defined in the law, because there are certain rules being made which we are going to discuss and which are contradictory to this definition. So it is very important to make a note here that in the case of export of service, payment to be received in convertible foreign exchange is a part of the definition which defines the export of services. Then it says supply of service and the recipient of service are not merely establishment of a distinct person in accordance with explanation 1 to section 8 of IGST. They say it should not be my branch, I should not be conducting business through an agent, etc. So if I am making an export from my head office to my branch, then certainly that will be considered a distinct person and shall not qualify as an export of service. So friends, kindly remember that export of goods means taking goods out of India, export of service means provided in India, recipient outside, and place of supply outside India, and more importantly, convertible foreign exchange, not establishment of the same person. Then friends, if we go to import, then it is conversely to the export. It is not a mirror image, kindly appreciate. It is not a mirror image, but yes, it is converse to export. With its grammatical variation, cognate expression means bringing goods into India from a place outside India. Similarly, the import of service definition is very limited and having 3 limbs as compared to 5 which was there in export of services. Supplier outside, recipient inside, it is absolutely converse as I told you. Place of supply in India, it is converse. But the 2 conditions, payment in convertible foreign exchange and distinct persons of the same entity, that condition is not there. So import of service and import of goods. Now friends, what are the benefits available under section 26? Hansraj Chugji has dealt with this, but he has simply touched it. I'll go slightly in detail. It says, subject to the provision of subsection 2, the following exemption drawback. Now I would like to focus on certain points. Exemption from any duty of custom on the goods imported into or services provided in special economic zone. One of the objective was to provide them goods and services which are input without taxes. So this one concession from Custom Act. It is not a general clause. They have mentioned a Custom Act 1962. And that too, if you see the underline, to carry on the authorized operation of the developer of enterprise. This need to be remembered till I finalize my discussion on SEZ. Then it comes exemption from any duty of custom on goods exported from, services provided from SEZ. So no export duty to any place outside India. Then comes exemption from any duty of excise. After custom, we are moving to excise law. And then what they say, goods brought from domestic tariff area to SEZ to carry on the authorized operation, because excise duty is being levied on the goods manufactured in India. So obviously these goods have to be supplied by the manufacturer to the SEZ unit. And what is really important is again the underlined part, authorized operation by the developer. Then friends, clause D says there is an exemption of duty of custom once again for goods imported into or services provided in SEZ unit to carry on any authorized operation. Then comes exemption under chapter 5, that means service tax, again underlined, to carry on the authorized operation. Then comes security transaction tax, I am not dealing in it. Then Central Sale Tax Act also, the exemption was there, but again on the authorized operation. So exemption under custom, excise CGST, rather central state tax, I should say, it was not there at that point of time. All exemptions are for the authorized operation. But where is the exemption with regard to IGST? Section 26 has not been amended even today to incorporate that the taxes levied under IGST Act will be exempted to the SEZ unit, though they have made a specific provision in the GST Act itself to provide exemption to these SEZ units. What is the impact of this? Earlier on, if some restrictions were being put in Chapter 5 service tax, let us say, and that restriction was in contradiction to SEZ Act, the court argued, taking this 51 section only, you cannot go beyond the SEZ Act because that says notwithstanding anything contained under any other law for the time being. So, reason best known to the government, they have not amended it. So 51 has lost most of its shine. But in any case, specific exemptions have been provided in IGST. Those exemptions shall certainly be available. Then comes section 30. This is also important to understand because the question comes whether SEZ who is located in India can be treated as a territory outside India. Before we come to that question, let us understand what is the mandate of this section. This section very clearly says goods removed from a special economic zone to DTA shall be chargeable to duties of custom. Although you are supplying the goods to a local customer, but this for the purpose of authorized operation, SEZ is being considered as a area outside India. So therefore, any supplies made by SEZ to domestic traffic area unit will be subject to custom, including anti-dumping, countervailing, safeguarding, and other duties under the Custom Act read with Custom Tariff Act. Then the rate of duty and tariff valuation shall also be applicable as prescribed under custom law, and this is the section 51(1) I was referring to. The provisions of this act shall have effect notwithstanding anything inconsistent therein contained in any other law for the time being. This law was in 2005. I am sure with the passage of time, they may make exception to it, like IBC Act has come, which has some provisions which may be in clash with SEZ units and all that. In any case, I am not going into that. My subject is to deal with indirect taxes. So section 51 is the important section which we have to deal with. Now, what are the tax implications when the supplies are being made by a local supplier, which we call DTA, and a supplier located in domestic tariff area to SEZ unit? There are two sections which are important for this, section 5 and section 16. 16 we have already read. 7 says it is interstate supply. Then 16 says it is zero rated supplies. Then supplier is entitled to ITC, again within bracket, if exempt goods and services are supplied. Even if I am making a supply of exempted goods, because they have been treated as zero rated equivalent to export, now all the export benefit has been extended to zero rated supply, and zero rated supplies certainly include supplies made to SEZ units and SEZ developers. Now friends, we are entitled for this. Now, as I told you, in the case of exports also, the supplies can be made in two manners. If I am making a supply to SEZ unit with IGST, then what is going to happen? Refund can be claimed by the supplier located in India, domestic tariff area, provided he has not passed the incidence of tax to the SEZ unit. And undoubtedly, no SEZ unit normally pay the taxes. I will supply you the goods for rupees 100, I will pay 18% out of my pocket. There is a 16 rupees as credit, 2 rupees I will pay to the government, and 18 rupees refund I will claim. Rule 96B, which is very recently inserted on 23rd of March 2020, which says that in the case of export of goods also, the realization must be in foreign exchange. Realization of export proceeds in forex was not a condition when I was reading the definition of export of goods. I told you kindly pay focus to this, and that was only with the limited purpose. Okay, now this rule is being introduced, which is against the provision of statutory provision which defines the term export of goods, whether it is ultra vires the rules, whether it is ultra vires the power of the government under section 164 to make rules. This provision has already been challenged in the court of law, and we all understand till tribunal you cannot challenge these provisions, and because till tribunal all are statutory authorities. Tribunal is a statutory court bound by the law laid down by the parliament or the legislature. But when it comes to High Court and Supreme Court, which are constitutional court, the challenge can be made, and we have seen in the past number of issues wherein certain rules have been struck down. Now 96B, what will be the fate? Because number of rules have been challenged in various high courts, proceedings are there at different level, I don't know. But in my humble understanding, this rule being introduced from 23rd of March, perhaps the government was in a hurry to ensure that there should not be any fraud which is being committed in the case of exports, so they put up this condition of foreign exchange. And second issue may be because of terrorism and all that, they want to look at it. Whenever there is a flow of consideration from the foreign company, the money comes from the desired channel and goes to the desired channels only. Now when it comes to supplies made by supplier in domestic tariff area to SEZ unit or developer without payment of tax, there is no question they can always claim the refund of GST which they have paid on the supplies made thereof. Now once these two options are there, both option has its own plus and minus. This is for my industry friends. For example, if I supply the goods under LUT, then I am entitled to claim the credit of GST paid on input and input services, but not credit of duty on capital goods. But in case I make an export or make a zero rated supply after IGST, then that credit can be simply absorbed. It is not forming part of my cost. And once a credit does not form part of my cost, it is minimum 70% saving. Because in any case, if it becomes my part of cost, my income tax liability will go up to the tune of that credit amount. So friends, it is again a question whether I have to make it through IGST. For example, in case we talk about the goods where the payment has come in advance and the condition is the goods must leave the country, I think IGST is a better option. The venue authorities have a very limited question to ask you. You have paid the tax, you are entitled for that, and even shipping bill itself is being treated as an application for filing the refund, and even refund mechanism is not to be followed. But once it comes to services for which the payment is not likely to be received in a couple of months, and there is a huge value addition, input tax credit is also less, then you have to pay a lot of money out of your own pocket and wait that money to come back from the department, though digitalization is being talked about. But still, if you want to have a refund from the department, tan man dhan se mehnat karni padti hai, then you get the refund. Now the second question is whether SEZ unit can claim ITC refund on the supplies made by DTA. Certainly it can be done if they have borne the incidence of tax and the certificate has been given by the DTA supplier that they have not claimed the ITC on those supplies, and they will not claim refund on that. Now, when we come to benefits which will be given to SEZ units, then the first is advance authorization, which permits you to import certain inputs which are physically incorporated into the goods without paying any custom duty. So when we talk about this advance authorization advantage, it is available in a situation when I am making supplies to SEZ also, because they are also being treated as zero rated. I can also import duty-free input and the supplies made to SEZ is being considered as discharge of my export obligation. When it comes to duty-free import of capital goods to be used for the production of goods to be exported, this advantage is also available when I am making supplies to SEZ. When I say SEZ, I mean both SEZ unit and developer of SEZ. So those benefits are also available to me. Now, as I told you, the question comes whether SEZ is a part of India for GST purposes. 256, clause 56 of section 2 of CGST define India as defined in article 1, then continental shelf, etc. And then it says, and the airspace above the territory. SEZ Act says domestic tariff area from the whole of India, but does not include the areas of SEZ. It is again important that for the purpose of defining domestic tariff area, SEZ zone is being excluded from that definition. And section 53 very clearly says that territory, this SP, special economic zone, to be treated as a territory outside the custom territory of India. But for what? For a limited purpose, that is for the purpose of undertaking the authorized operation. इस authorized operation के लिए it will be considered not a part of India, but everybody knows the data was also there. It is more than 4,000 now SEZ and unit, etc. Then supply of goods and services from local supplier to SEZ is being considered as export in SEZ Act also. Supply from SEZ to DTA. I was reading section 30. I said it is important. Kindly understand. Once a supply has been made by SEZ to DTA, it is being considered as an import and custom duties are leviable. Section 30 also made available and make it very clear. So thus, to summarize, I will say that SEZ is a part of India, but it has been deemed to be outside the custom territory of India for the supplies made to DTA units and zero rated supplies made to outside. So that means for a limited purpose, SEZ is being considered as a area outside the India for the purpose of levying custom duty, etc. Then friends, now we are coming to very important issue. When I was reading section 16, I'll just go through. What does it say? Subject to the provision of subsection 5 of section 17, which is block credit, no dispute on that. Credit of input tax may be availed by making zero rated supplies. So there is no doubt, we have already discussed it, if supplies made to SEZ are zero rated supplies. Now the question comes whether I am entitled to claim all the GST which I have paid on the input services of capital goods, or which is being covered in the definition of input tax credit defined in clause 68, perhaps I am not mistaken, if I am not mistaken, of section 2 of CGST. Or it is only those supplies which are being used for authorized operation. When I was reading section 26 of SEZ Act, wherein the exemptions, drawbacks and advantage permissible to SEZ units were specified, there I was reading very specifically that with regard to all indirect taxes, either it is custom, excise, service tax or central sales tax, the credit is available only for authorized operation. But that section does not contain the reference of the Act at all. Now, if IGST Act provides a relief which is beyond the relief provided under SEZ Act, is it illegal? Or it cannot be provided? Certainly it can be provided. And that is why, in my humble opinion, they have provided in Rule 89(1) that you can claim refund ITC, that means refund of unutilized input tax credit, only for supplies used for authorized operation, may be challenged. States can look at it because they represent trade. So you can challenge that provision, because if a broader or a larger benefit has been provided under one law, that benefit should be made available to me, and it should not be restricted by your delegated legislature of rule-making authority. It is only under Rule 89(1) that you restrict my credit. But my question is, as I have already stated, is it contrary to Section 16? But surprisingly, if they made an amendment in SEZ on the line of custom and excise and provide that you'll get a refund of IGST or GST or CGST, whatever, paid on supplies used for authorized operation, then certainly the situation will be entirely different. Can SEZ Act be amended retrospectively to provide for the same? Or this Section 16(1) can be amended retrospectively? In my humble opinion, no. So, this 89(1) rule, which provide you benefit only with regard to supplies used for authorized operation, is again contrary to Section 16(2), and in my humble opinion, may be struck down by the courts. Although there are certain judgments now, one of the judgment is by Karnataka Authority of Advanced Ruling in the case of Coffee Day Global Limited, wherein by referring to this Section 4(2) and 15(9), which has been referred in Section 26, I have already quoted those sections, but I have not read it very carefully. I'll share my PPT with the institute. You can ask for that PPT. You can read it once again. So again, they are talking about that the credit shall be allowed or the refund shall be available only for the supplies used for authorized operation. Similarly, there is another authority of advanced ruling of Gujarat in the case of Saptagiri Hospitality, which has gone to appellate authority of advanced ruling also. I am doing it hurriedly because of the time constraint. So there also again the same thing has been happened, and the department has also issued a circular 48 dated 14th of June. Then they have clarified, it is therefore clarified that services of short-term accommodation conferencing provided as a developer asset unit shall be treated as interstate, and the credit shall be available only if they have been used for authorized operation. My dear friends, we all understand that these circulars are only the view of the government, and even the government come out with a disclaimer that they are the viewpoint of the department, and the real position as stated in the law shall prevail. So in my humble opinion, the challenge to this 89(1) is warranted, and it is an advantage which has been given, maybe inadvertently, but the time it is there, and I had a right to look at the law, and the law has to be implemented in the spirit it is being inserted. So that is the position which I want to say. So now, one thing which is absolutely clear, all supplies to SEZ unit or developer are zero rated, entitled for all the benefit which are available to the exports. I can claim refund of unutilized ITC if I am exporting without IGC, and if I am exporting with IGST, then I can claim the refund of IGST. Now, another very important issue, which is for the trade again, and the government must also think on it, because ultimately it will lead to a lot of litigation. When I say litigation, I'll say wasteful litigation. We all understand there is a concept of reverse charge liability in GST, wherein the recipient of supply is liable to pay the tax. So now these SEZ unit are also receiving certain supplies of goods and services which are subject to reverse charge, like GTA services, advocate services, legal services, director services, so many others. So the question is, if supplies made to SEZ unit is then zero rated supply, then my humble submission, if I am not liable to pay the tax at all, supplier has to pay the tax and claim a refund, or supplier has not to charge me and claim refund of unutilized ITC. Then, if in RCM, can I say If supplier is filing IUT, I am not liable to pay the tax. And in fact, in professional circle also, there is a debate and there is a difference of opinion on this. But if you look at this section, and I'll give you my point of view, you can follow whatever you want to do. All the provisions of this act shall apply to such recipient as if he is the person liable for paying the tax. He has been made person liable for paying the tax. The word in red within inverted commas are my word in relation to the supplier. The government could have said he is the recipient who is liable to pay the tax and he shall be considered as a supplier in relation to such supplier service of goods or both. Then I can understand that could have been a different situation also. But once they use the language that person liable for paying the tax rather than the supplier, in my humble opinion, SEZ is liable to pay RCM and then claim the refund. Refund, or maybe can utilize it for his liability when he is clearing certain goods in TTA as per the policy. So friends, as there is no financial implication involved, I have to pay the tax and claim the credit in the same month. I'll suggest not to buy unnecessary litigation. And wherever there is a liability under RCM, you must discharge the liability and claim refund. Now there can be a number of questions in the mind of SEZ unit and developers. I'll just clarify from the IGST point of view. IGST on import of goods has been exempted by custom notification number 64. Basic custom duties leviable, so it is not exempted. It is not. It is taxable but exempted. Similarly, import of services have been exempted by notification number 18/2017 of IGST. When SEZ is making a supply to outside India, that is also being treated as zero rated. Like any supplier make exports to India, SEZ unit cannot be put into an inferior condition as compared to the SEZ unit, entitled for the same benefit, incentives, etc. When it comes to supplies made by SEZ to DTA, I have already section treated as an import liable to custom duties. He cannot issue a tax invoice. But when it comes to services, this is important to note. There is no specific provision in SEZ which deals that the supplies made by SEZ to a customer or to a recipient in India shall be treated as import of service. That will be treated as a normal supply of service and is to be made under tax invoice. Now friends, we will come to EOU. When it comes to EOU, then certainly EOU, STP, EHTP, BTP, that means export oriented unit, software technological part, electronic hardware technological part, and biotechnological part are all being formulated under EOU scheme, which is there in Chapter 6 of Foreign Trade Policy. GST law only mentioned these units in one section, and that section is 147, which deals with the deemed export. This is supplies made by domestic supplier to these units shall be considered as deemed export. What is deemed export? How it is different from SEZ? We will understand that. But first of all, let us understand what is the purpose of objective. What is the objective of creating the EOU? It is manufacturing of goods, rendering of services, development infrastructure, etc. for increasing the export of those units. Trading units are not being covered. As I told you, objective is to promote export, enhance foreign exchange earnings, etc. So that has already been dealt in detail by Chuksab, so I am not dealing with that. Now I am coming to EOU transaction. When a supply is being made by domestic supplier to EOU, notified as deemed export under section 147, what are the conditions of deemed export? I will come back to that. It is not a zero rated supply. Zero rated supply doesn't mention about deemed export. The word deemed itself says something is wrong with this. It is a deeming fiction wherein the export is being presumed. Why? Because when I was dealing with the definition of export, I told you export means taking a goods from outside India, from a place outside India, from a place in India to outside, to a place outside India. From India to a place outside India. So now in the case of deeming export, the goods are not moving. Supplier is giving to EU unit both India. They are being considered as deemed export. Though they are not export in terms of statutory definition, but because considered export and all the benefits shall be available, But here, no facility of making deemed export under LUT is being given. When you are making an supply of goods to EOU, that is deemed export, you have to pay the tax and then claim the refund. Refund can be claimed either by the supplier, and in case the incidence has been borne by the recipient and a certificate has been given by the supplier, even the recipient can claim a refund. The condition of receipt of export in convertible foreign exchange is not at all applicable. Same advantage of exports are available. Supply of services by DTA to EOU, neither considered under deemed export nor zero rated. The normal supply of services, no exemption has been given. Just like B2B supply and EOU unit, if it falls in the definition of input service, certainly entitled for the credit of the same. Deemed export, as I told you, the goods need not move out of India. The payment may be received in INR or convertible foreign exchange even after the amendment made in Rule 96, and the goods must be manufactured in India. Now, when it comes to EOU transaction, that means the transaction made by EOU, certainly they are zero rated supplies because they are making export. All advantages are available to them, but they are barred from exporting goods and services with full payment when they are availing duty-free import under notification number 52 of 203 or 78 of 270. MEIS incentive to the exporters, yes, they are availing exemption under direct taxes, then it is not available, otherwise it is available. Goods manufactured and exported directly by EOU to foreign customers on behalf of DTA, one will be eligible for claiming the export value. So looking to the time constraint, I am hurriedly going through it. So far as import is concerned, no exemption, tax is payable, a credit is available. Similarly here, once they are leviable to tax under custom and IGST, BACD is exempted under this notification, and IGST is also exempted under notification 70. So almost similar benefit has been given to them on the line of SEZ, except certain exception which I have dealt with when I was dealing with the issue. Now, EOU to EOU is also being considered as a deemed export. SEZ to EOU is also being considered as part of DTA, and PCD etc. is leviable under section 30. Then EOU to SEZ and SEZ to SEZ again considered as an export. So I am not dealing with this slide in detail because we all understand. Now, this is an important slide on which I would like to spend a minute or so. This is the distinction between SEZ and EOU. They are being governed by SEZ Act, it is being governed by Chapter 6 of FTP, and Chuksa was saying they should be a net foreign exchange earner, and for the purpose, whatever supply is being made to SEZ, that is also being forming part of it. So all those conditions are there in Chapter 6. You will not find all those conditions in IGST Act. Kindly take a note of it. EOU SEZ concept in relation to IGST or GST is having a very limited implication. Anyway, establish a demarcated zone anywhere in India, territories beyond the custom territory for authorized operation only within the custom territory. Supplies made by DT are being treated zero rated. Here it is being treated as deemed export because LUT facility is not available. Supply of goods to DTA by SEZ is an import, but here it is a normal supply, IGST or CGST depending upon the nature of supply. Then supply of services to DTA by SEZ leviable to IGST. Services are being treated absolutely on the same level because there is no specific provision for these services. Import of goods, both have got an exemption, and import of services, here the tax is payable, whereas in the case of SEZ, they are exempted by notification number 18 of 12017. Friends, FTWZ also mentioned by Chuk Saab, because time is going to be over, 5 and 10 minutes I want to leave for question answer session. For a minute I would like to say, it is another form of SEZ wherein I can store the goods, receive goods from the foreign client, store it for authorized operation, warehousing and other value-added services can be provided, and after performance I can sell it either within India or I can re-export this. It is another form of SEZ, zero rated supplies under section 16. entitled for refund of unutilized ITC. Import of services also exempted, like in the case of SEZ. When I am providing service to foreign customer, Section 13, which deals with the place of supply, unless otherwise the place of supply is outside India, it can never be export. And warehousing services being covered under the performance based, so they can never be an export, and even if made to foreign customers will be subject to tax. Other services, we have to look at the place of supply. Wherever the place of supply will be outside India, that can be treated as an export. When I am supplying to DTA customer, I am absolutely, as a normal supplier, nothing more to be done. With this, I am concluding my discussion on this part, and now I am open for question answer if there is any. Otherwise, some of the question has been given it to me in the morning in my WhatsApp. I can deal with those questions.
Sir, Batra Saab, our Vice Chairman of the Export Promotion Council, Bhuvnesh Seth Saab, has a question. I'll request him to Seth Saab.
Yep. Sir, we are into. Yeah, should I continue?
Please.
Yes. Batraji, we are into EOUs of printing of books. LOP is issued by SEZ for printed books. Post GST, printed of books is classified as services under SAP 9989 instead of manufacturing. Order received from overseas publishers, printed books are exported globally under 4901. Export of books, EOUs as per export of services entitled to export the services under LUT as per IGST Act Section 26. However, as per customs interpretation, printed books under HSN 4901 are exported and it should be cleared under not applicable category and can't be take benefit of input tax credit. It is requested for the same should be clarified for export of printed books under LUT without payment of IGST or not applicable category. Shall EOUs are eligible to claim ITC on raw materials? Query 1. EOUs printed books are entitled to clear goods under LUT. Please clarify as customs are asking to make custom clearance under not applicable category. Shall EOUs are eligible to claim ITC on raw materials if exports under not applicable category? Deemed exports, EOUs are entitled to supply in India for order received from overseas and payment is received from overseas in convertible foreign currency under Chapter 6.08b and 6.09b of FTP with permission from NSEZ. As per IGST Section 26, export of services, are we entitled to use duty-free raw material? As above, it is classified as export of services. So that is, can we claim ITC on raw material? That is my question, sir.
States are one thing which you will appreciate with me.
Yeah.
Though it is a tax which is leviable on supply of goods or services or both, but when we look at the rate notification, time of supply, place of supply, rate of tax, they are either of goods or of services. So that means even if a supply which involves material as well as service has to be classified either as goods or a service, and then all the provisions shall apply. Now I'll give you an example of WAS contract where you're constructing a building, and everybody knows when I'm constructing a building 65 to 75% is the material, but in terms of Schedule 2 to GST Act, it has been considered as a supply of service. I don't know whether you're aware of it, but it's considered as supply of service. Similarly, when this dispute came, then a department issued a circular, I don't remember the number, wherein they compared two situations, one where I am giving the printed stationery where my name etc. is being printed, and another is a copyrighted content, publisher has given a contract of printing to me. So they have clarified It is a composite supply, undoubtedly, because there is a supply of material, supply of service, but it has to be classified either a supply of goods or a supply of service so that all the provisions are made applicable. You can't say, I am making supply of books of rupees 100, 50 rupees service, 50 is goods. No, it can't be. Similarly, a contractor who is raising an invoice for construction has to raise the invoice and charge only one GST, treating it as a supply of service. So they clarified, once it is a copyright information, you are being engaged or occupied or you are being taken on job for the purpose of carrying out printing, it's a service. But once you supply a stationery, etc., then the purpose is to sell the stationery, though the material has been given it to you, which is not a copyright, it is your name, etc. So I have not even a iota of doubt after that clarification that it is a supply of service positively. Once it is a supply of service and there are goods also being consumed, undoubtedly all GST credit can be availed, either it is of paper or it is of machinery repair or it is of any other thing. So it is a supply of service, rate of service tax shall be applied. Similarly, you are entitled for all the credit, and in case you feel your credits are more than your output supply, then inverted duty structure, you can go and claim refund.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is one of the questions which has been given it to me. Yes, चुप साहब बताएं, उसने टाइम के हिसाब से बताते रहे, मैं क्वेश्चन डील करूंगा, नहीं तो मैं छोड़ दूंगा सर.
हाँ नहीं, आपके पास जो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन भेजे मैं कमेटी ने, कुछ क्वेश्चन हैं, लेकिन पहले आप उन्हें टेकअप कर लें क्योंकि दे हैज बीन सेंट इन एडवांस.
तो मैं इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस ले लेता हूं हरियरली. आई विल नॉट टेक मोर देन 5 मिनट्स. व्हाट इज द रेशनल बिहाइंड फिक्सिंग रेट इन दैट टैक्सेस? देखिए सर, बिना रेट के तो लेवी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं होती. देयर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट ऑफ बीसी श्रीनिवासन शेट्टी. Secondly, rates are required because certain goods are liable to be taxed at higher rate, which are demerit, and goods which are liable to be used by the masses and below the poverty line taxable at a lower rate. Second question is with regard to liquor and wine under VAT. There is no way you can avoid that tax. You have to pay that tax. Even Form I cannot be used even if they are supplied to SEZ unit, because Form I is being issued when the goods are to be used for the purpose of business or specified purposes mentioned under the Central Status Law. And another issue is MEIS let export date is April 20 extension of ice gate. देखिए इसमें 2-3 इशू उन्होंने रेस किए हैं. मैं सिंपली कह देता हूं कि 9,000 करोड़ रुपए का एक एलोकेशन किया गया था MES के लिए. वो एलोकेशन खत्म हो गया. गवर्नमेंट इज शॉर्ट ऑफ फंड्स एंड कोविड पीरियड इज गोइंग ऑन. आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन विद दैट, बट नाउ SEZ online portal has been merged with the ICE gate with effect from September 20. And another question is whether SEZ unit can opt for paying of GST for its input supply and taking GST credit against taxable output supply. Yes, certainly, there's no doubt about that, and I have dealt when I was dealing with my presentation also. Whether any default of services can be taken as zero rated, no. I am of the view all supplies. But yes, even if you go by the authority of advance ruling and the circular issued by the department, all the supplies which are being used for authorized operation, you are eligible for that refund. Whether STP unit required to be registered for certification of soft tax form, certainly yes. A hospital, yes, hospital can opt for composition scheme irrespective of the rate of tax on which he is buying the item, provided he satisfy all other conditions, like he is not making interstate sales, etc. Then there was a question whether there is a precondition to be followed before supplying of goods meant for capital nature. No. Then this was policy decision. They say it should have happened. I am with them. But certainly it is with regard to the export. जैसे funds etc. block हो जाते हैं. मैं उनके साथ हूँ, पर ये policy decision है. इसमें question कोई नहीं है. मैं इसको answer नहीं कर सकता. Similarly, next query with regard to issuance process of petroleum product. Again, policy decision. Welcome. Suggestion, but ultimately no question involved. And rest queries I have already answered. This is all I was having, Chuksa. 3 or 4 were only suggestions for the government. They can implement it. I can't answer it. Rest I have already answered.
Thank you, Batra Sahab. There are certain other questions, but because I think those are already been covered in your presentation. So I'm very grateful and thankful to our both the speakers, CA Dr. Girish Ahuja ji. Really, he has brought us more stronger in understanding the faceless and the government's views also, whatever is going on in the minds of the government related with the taxation system and the data mining and everything. We are very grateful to him on behalf of the each and every participant and on behalf of the SEZs also. Very grateful and CA Ashok Batraji really gives the better quality to understand, better understanding on the subjects with the legal mind, with a lot of clarity in the thought process. Really, Batra Sahab, we are very grateful to you in your present, though in absentia Ahuja Sahab, but it's a really once this program was been given to be taken care of, so the first name came to the very first name of you and our Dr. Girish Ahuja ji only came to my mind, and thankfully both of you accepted in the very first instance itself. I am very grateful and thankful to both of you, and both our, though they are the co-host, they don't need any kind of thank because they are the organizer themselves, Bhuvnesh Seth Saab and Alok Chaturvedi ji. But for the sake of we have joined hands, it's a great moment for our committee of the ICAI and the Export Promotion Council of the EOUs and SEZs though it's a very first program to start with, but this relationship will go a long way. This will be built so many good things for the government also to understand the issues related with the SEZs and EOUs and the other areas concerned for the better understanding of the policy and giving whatever the challenges or whatever the issues are there with the promotion of the exports from these sectors. So I am very grateful and thankful to Seth Saab and Chaturvedi Saab also. And I am each and every participants from core of my heart. Without the support of really I can see like numbers are quite high, though I did not expected that these will be the numbers which I got from the office. It's almost 10,000 participants. Believe me, I thought of it must be around 3,000-4,000, but it's a good, such a large number, and not only from northern part of the country, it's all across the country and some part from the globe also. These kind of the participants really giving us the strength. It gives us the more energy. What the organizers feel to have with participants are the most grateful assets for the organizers. I am very grateful and thankful to each and every participants from the core of my heart, and the secretariat of this committee. I am very grateful and thankful to Monica and her team also for bringing out this platform and the organizing from the back front, taking care of all the logistics and whatever the coordination required with the speakers also, with the promotion council also, office also. I am very grateful and thankful to her and her team also. With these words, look forward for a greater collaboration with the promotion council of the EOUs and SEZs, and look forward from the greater contribution of the Ashok Batraji and our Girish Ahuja ji for the growth of the EOUs and the SEZ segments also. I appreciate कि बत्रा साहब का जो है नॉलेज बेस, चाहे वो SEZ हो, EOU हो, इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स हो, हर तरीके से जो है हमारे सिस्टम के अंदर जो है always been available to the each one of us. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hansraji, for the wonderful session, and I am really thanks for the wonderful speakers, Girish Ahuja ji and Ashok Batraji, and I am sure everybody is much, EOUs and SEZs are much benefited, and you have covered all things. Thank you for Alok ji now.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Batraji, for your legal explanation and technical explanation of various questions which have been raised, and also, Mr. Very eloquent exposition by Ahuja ji. The way he has explained the thinking behind that. I wanted to ask some questions whether the same thing is happening in other countries also, or this kind of faceless thing is happening in India only. Because this is a sub question of trust also, whether you are trusting your taxpayers, whether you are trusting your other people or not, whether the same kind of situation is happening in other countries as well. So I'm just wanted to have some more discussions with him. Thank you so much, Chuk Saab and your secretariat, Monica, because they have done a beautiful thing about organizing the whole thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Andre. Thank you.
Thank you so much.